All right, good afternoon, everyone. If we can go ahead and call this Pompano Beach City Commission meeting to order, December 12th, 2023. If I could ask everyone to please go ahead and silence their cell phones or put them on vibrate, that way we don't get disturbed during the meeting, that would be ideal. So please put them on silent or vibrate. Gervin, can we go ahead and call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Commissioner Fournier?
Here.
Commissioner Moss?
Here.
Commissioner Perkins?
Here.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Here.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Here.
Mayor Harden?
Here, thank you for that. Our invocation today will be given by Pastor Dr. Gary Kolbach of the Grace Church. So if we can please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Mayor, Commission members, thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to be here with you today. Our good and gracious God, we are so thankful for the opportunity to start this meeting just petitioning you for wisdom on behalf of those that are going to make decisions on behalf of this city. Lord, we pray for those in the room that are in uniform today as we look around. We pray for their safety, and we thank you for what they do for each one of us. God, we also pray for those that are going to present and the various decisions that will be made today. God, it's an opportunity that we start this meeting asking that wisdom would be given from above. So you guide us in that. Help these folks to make the very best decisions on behalf of those we serve. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Can I get a motion approving the City and CRA Board special meeting minutes of October 12th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of November 14th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you for those. On our agenda this afternoon, Mr. Harrison, are there any changes?
No, sir.
Very good. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. On our consent agenda this evening, or this afternoon, we will be pulling items number 6 and 8 from the consent agenda. Those will be discussed individually. So 6 and 8 will be discussed individually. All other items on the consent agenda are eligible for discussion during audience to be heard. Bless you. All right, and that takes us up to our audience to be heard. Do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard today?
Yes, Mayor.
Whoops. Hold on. No.
Yes.
I apologize. I skipped right over a few things. All right, that takes us up to our proclamations. Our first proclamation, well, our only proclamation, is a presentation to someone who I think probably everybody knows is Dr. Richard J. Peraro. I'll be presenting it over here at the side, but Dr. Peraro, I know you're here, and if you can join me here at the podium. For those who don't know, Doc has been a faithful servant to the city of Pompano Beach for many, many years in many, many capacities, and he's got a lot of friends in this city and across the country, of course. But let me just go through this, and then I think we're going to have some folks who want to say a few things. Whereas Dr. Richard J. Peraro has served this community well as a hardworking and enthusiastic citizen, giving generously of his time. And whereas Dr. Richard J. Peraro has announced his plans to leave our community. His years of service have been marked by exemplary dedication to the best interests of our city and residents, and we appreciate all his assistance to the city of Pompano Beach through these many years. And whereas Dr. Peraro, affectionately known to many as Doc, has had a long career as a well-known dentist with his practice located in the city of Pompano Beach for 52 years. Whereas Dr. Peraro has served on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board from 1980 to 1993 and has been a strong advocate for sports in Pompano Beach, even coaching our youth in various sports and very vocal in making sure all ages were included in numerous programs. And whereas Dr. Peraro has served on the Golf Advisory Board since 2005, of which he recently resigned. He was instrumental in hiring Greg Norman 10 years ago to redesign the Pines course, as well as being involved in the current regrassing and bunker repair project completed in the summer of 2023. He played his very first round of golf at Pompano Beach Golf Course back in 1970 and has been a long-standing member of the golf course for over 60 years. And whereas Doc Peraro has dedicated his life to this community and has demonstrated his deep, genuine love, his continued involvement in civic endeavors. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, on behalf of the entire City Commission, hereby give our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Richard J. Peraro for all he has contributed to our community and extend our best wishes to him and his family for many and successful years in the future. He will be dearly missed in Pompano Beach on this 12th day of December, 2023. Doc, with all sincerity, thank you for everything you've done. I mean that in all sincerity, please. Thank you.
Can I wipe away the tears first? I don't know where to begin, but I do. I love this city. I love it very much. It's provided me the opportunity to raise a family of 9 kids.
Wow.
Loved every minute. It's provided a warm home for my wife Dorothy and I for a long time. But more importantly, I'm thankful for it, for giving me the opportunity to what I have done, and that is fulfill a promise I made to my father a long time ago. And this is very important. My dad came to this country when he was 17 years old, had no education, no tools, didn't speak the language, but yet he became very, very successful. And prior to his death, he took me aside and said, "Son, I have not fulfilled my desire to pay back to this country what it has done for me. Therefore, I'm asking you to help me repay to this country what it has done for him." Well, that inspired me, and it was a good thing. Very first year of my practice, which is another thing the city has provided me with, a very successful practice. But one day I came in the office and there was a young boy sitting in the chair and he was crying. And of course, I'm thinking he's afraid of being at the dentist. So I went in and talked to him to try to calm him down, and he told me he was crying because he had been cut from a baseball team in the recreation department. I couldn't believe this. How does a young boy today get cut from a baseball team? So I called the recreation department and simply said, you know, I've got the situation and I don't think it's fair. That day you couldn't advertise with the dentist. I said, I will donate the shirts, form another team. I want to coach it, but I've got one condition that has to be met. The only boys on that team are the ones that did not make it to the other teams. And that started it for me. And it continued. And that's how much I love this city. There's so many things, so many wonderful things that it has provided me. And I enjoyed giving back for my father. I enjoyed my days. I can't tell you the friends that I've made. Now say this, okay? Another thing my father taught me was never judge a person by his color, only what he has in his heart. Consequently, I've made numerous friends in the community, and I don't know what color they are. Okay, it's that simple. There's one lady back here I love to death. The only thing is she's never forgiven me for being 2 weeks older than she is. So she's got a birthday coming up, and you're going to be turning 67, Miss Barbara. Probably 87, right? But, and, you know, a past commissioner, Woody, sitting down here, smart guy. I told him a long time ago that I'm so glad he married that beautiful wife of his. He finally recognized the fact that he's got beauty all around him, in spite of the fact that he's the ugliest guy I've ever seen. But, you know, I've just, it's hard for me to leave a community, and Mayor was pretty correct, but not quite correct enough. I first played that golf course when I was 16 years old in high school. And that's what 70 years old ago. So now you know how old I am. But I've been given the opportunity. I've known the mayor for a long time. I've watched him come up. I'm very proud of him and what he has done for the city. Ms. Perkins over here, I'm grateful that you never bit me as a patient. And the Vice Mayor, Andrea, I'm sorry, I'll call you Andrea. I'm trying to get over the fact that I should forgive you for never being able to convince your uncle to quit beating me so badly in golf. But you tried. We have a wonderful city here. It's a great city. And it's because of these people and people like them that preceded them. Be grateful for that. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of people throughout these many years. I'm thankful that we've got a city manager, the quality of the man that's sitting to my left over here. He's the best I've seen. I've gone through a lot of them. And fortunately, we've got Greg, and I asked the commission, don't ever let anybody steal him from us. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. Golf is my thing, okay? Have in the city, our golf course is in the condition it is in. And I know without a doubt that it will continue to be the gem that it is with our existing golf course manager, Brian, and Bob Loring. Don't let them go. They know what they're doing, and they're doing a phenomenal job. So I don't know what else to say, but thank you. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to answer my father's wishes. So I say, God bless you. God bless Pompano Beach. God bless the state of Florida. God bless these gentlemen that practice day in and day out. And God bless the USA. Thank you.
Hey, Doc. Doc, please. Before we let you go, though, I think there may be a few folks in the audience who might want to say just a couple of things before you go to sit down. Is that all right? If they say nice, anybody want to say any nice things about Doc Ferraro? Come on up. Sure, come on up. Come on over. This doesn't happen very often, but we're breaking the rules today.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Just give your name, please.
Hey, my name is Zachary Cook. Sir, I never met you, but I'm a third-generation Pompano Beach resident. My grandmother moved here when she was a teenager from Miami. Had my mother here, had me here, grown up here. I played at Kester Park in the four fields baseball growing up my whole life. Probably played one of your teams, but I just want to say thank you because it's men like you who sponsored kids like me to give us a chance to actually go out there and play baseball and pursue the things that we love. So just from the bottom of my heart as a longtime Pompano Beach resident, thank you. I appreciate you, and good luck in your future.
Here we go. Now we're in for some trouble. Come on up here.
Some of the children. Praise the Lord. Always praise the Lord because He's my source of strength. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. And I always say, give honor to the Spirit of Christ because of Him. I'm here. Yeah. And the beautiful city commission. Praise God. It's mayor. It's always special. Praise the Lord. Every one of you, name by name and district by district. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you. Call the names of my good friend Otea. Praise the Lord, everybody in the building. And the honoree. Praise the Lord. I love to do a lot of talking. You see, it's a little bit of Wadsworth. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. And departing leaves behind us footprints on the sands of time. This man has left footprints, great footprints. Thank God. I saw it on television 3 months ago. They were preparing. And when they called his name, I was in the house. I said, oh, my. But my little grandson, and this is my daughter, Deidre, does a lot of support for me and work everywhere. And Sante, through the lobbyists. They would let children go into him to the dentist. And Sergeant Jamal couldn't come. I don't know, he just got back in town. And he has been such a, my husband was there first. He worked for, I think he did the maintenance for a while. And I was going somewhere else, and he told me about him. And I went there and met him. Oh, such a person. And his little wife now. I knew the children and their mother. The Lord blessed them later. Somebody to come here and take care of those children. You God good? Isn't he good? Yes, I love amens when I tell him. Praise the Lord. I thank God for the years that I've known him. Always so special to me. And the staff there. I just want to be a Vicente. I started about Vicente, raised three of the grandchildren. Adopted two. Jamal, hard to handle. I had a son who was going to school to study dentistry like him. Number one at Ely when he came out. I am a former Miss Ely, by the way. But anyway, he said, when they went to Ferraro, he said, he hurt me so bad. Mom, I'm changing. I ain't gonna study no dentistry. I'm going for something in medicine. But he was a good dentist. I tell you, it would take nothing for him. So I kind of robbed her if I didn't come. People, 2 or 3 places, Wednesday, Friday, can't rest for folk. I thank God for giving me strength and support from others in the city on the way. Perkins, they call her name. Grandmama, I give her pictures of grandma playing basketball. I got all kind of history in my house. I thank God for just knowing people. I'm a people's person. And when you return it, really you're very special to Barbara. Barbara Blake Robinson. Mother, then got an honorary doctorate after I studied and got an associate in ministry. So God is good to me. And I just thank God for being one here to say, oh, you all leaving the area? I didn't know that. Just thought you were having an acknowledgement because you've been such an asset to this great city. God bless you. Whatever your endeavors are, Baby Deidre, my support in time. So anyway, I had to organize with the bag. I got some for your wife, because I always give it. Beautiful, my daughter make all kind of things. Some for your wife in there. And I wanted to get you a plaque. I was upset because Vicente didn't get back to me. So on that note, get about that birthday. Yeah, you're a few days older than I. So I got the gift in here. Do the plaque, but I got some other little things. This is a sad day. My husband died on this day. He's the one led me there. Oh, my Lord. So much is going on, but I had to be here. 12. But thank God for you being around and me. Few more days. God bless every one of you. May the Lord continue to bless each of us until the Lord say, come on up a little higher. Pray for me. Come on now.
Thank you so much. I think we probably have somebody else who wants to say a few words here too. I'd like to recognize former city commissioner, good friend of mine, and his wife, Cynthia, the better half of the family, Woody Portier. All right.
Hello to everyone. God, you guys look good up there. Back in October of 1975, that's when I got hired by the city of Pompano as a firefighter paramedic. One of my first calls that I ran on a wreck, I think it was at 1100 or 900 South Federal Highway. And right before then, we had been looking for a good dentist, the wife and I. This is the wife, 52 years. And then we got this guy, Ferraro. And I had never gone to him yet, but I ran on this car accident, and the young lady who was in the car, and I can't think who she was, but her last name was Ferraro. And I was like, I'm trying to put it all together, and I asked her, I says, what do your dad do? She says, oh, he's a dentist. And I went, oh, no. So anyway, I had to take very good care of her because I was going to see her dad the very next day. And so that's how we first met, and that was back in 1975, and I've been going to him ever since. And after he retired, the dentist that he recommended, I go to that guy now because of Teresa, the daughter. And I tell you, it's been a beautiful relationship, and you have done a lot for the city of Pompano. When I was the commissioner, I helped you do a few things, and one was the golf course with Greg Norman. I tell you what, you're a beautiful guy, man, and you deserve the very best of life, you know? And Cynthia and I will always be a part of your life, and you will always be a part of ours. So wish you the best, okay?
Very good, very good. Thank you all for that. And Doc, once again, thank you for all you have done for this city, this community, greater Pompano Beach community. Obviously, you have made quite an impact. May God bless you and take care of you in all you do. Thank you so much, Doc. Appreciate it. All right, next on our agenda is presentation by Operation Established Trust. Gregory Johnson, member of the Operation Established Trust, will give a presentation on their efforts to unite Pompano Beach communities through partnerships with the Broward Sheriff's Office and local high schools. For this item, I'm going to ask Major Atkins if he would please step forward, give us a brief introduction, and cue it up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Doctor. More success for you on your next chapter in your life. That's a tough act to follow here.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and the Commissioners. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak briefly before I introduce the team that come up here from Operation Established Trust. Just real quickly, and then they'll take over their presentation, their short presentation of how we got to where we're at today. It dealt with shortly after the George Floyd tragedy and incident occurred, and subsequent incidents after that, that I was contacted by members of a newly formed group called Operation Established Trust and asked if the law enforcement could be involved and let's get it going on a dialogue to be able to get to the youth in our city. And it started out through our alumni, high school, Pompano Beach High School. And so I don't want to steal any more thunder, so at this time I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Gregory Johnson, Zoe, and I also have Coach Richard Nagy, and you probably know Miss Lois Green from Past the Blessing. She knows I always get that wrong and stuff. And also I'd just like to recognize that I have a few members of our Community Outreach and Response Enforcement Education team, better known as the CORE team. So without any further ado.
Right, Colonel Johnson.
Thank you very much, Major. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for allowing us to come and tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Okay, there we go. Let me go back. All righty. Again, as the Major had stated, once the situation, the death of George Floyd hit, we all know the impact, and that would be the negative impact, I believe, that has happened, especially with our law enforcement. What we wanted to do is we wanted to come together, like-minded individuals, to come up and say, hey, we want to have a positive response to this. We need to have our men and ladies that are law enforcement have our support, because if we want our support, or we want our city to function, we need them just as they need us. So it's a two-way street. We understand that the situation, yes, there are bad teachers, there are bad military folks, okay? Politicians, maybe not so much, but we understand the situation that happens, in the law enforcement. But we know that in our view, that is a minority view. And we look at it, hey, we want to focus on the bigness, not on the smallness, okay? So we ended up coming together, and what we wanted to do, as was stated, is to provide multi-opportunities. How can we positively impact, especially the youth? And that's what we kind of focus It is not all about sirens blaring, people getting locked up. That is the only thing that our law enforcement folks do. And so we want to show our high schoolers that there is another side so that we could break that type of maybe mentality and see that we do other things, they do other things. So by doing multiple tier type of programs, and we'll talk on a few, but toys for our elementary school that's right next to our school for some of those students that might not have a nice Christmas. We want to provide that. So partnering with our students as well as with Broward Sheriff's Office, we were able to provide that, okay? Plus many other toy drives, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the things that we want to do and bring forth. And again, the team has been already mentioned, but I've talked way too long. You don't want to hear me. We want to hear from a student, from Zoe, to kind of talk about what her experiences with what we're doing is. Zoe.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Zoe Katz, and I'm a senior at Pompano Beach High School. In my 3 years at Pompano Beach High School, being a part of Operation Established Trust has helped me find a sense of community in Pompano Beach. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, so Pompano Beach hasn't been my entire life, but being able to be welcomed into this community has been amazing. The lessons that we've learned from the brave men and women at the Sheriff's Office has encouraged me and so many other students at Pompano Beach to be a part of Pompano Beach's school safety culture. Supporting the toy drive and the food drives has helped me make a meaningful impact in my community, and seeing how much good we do for the elementary school has been just phenomenal. I wouldn't have been able to experience it anywhere else. So I hope that Blanche Ely will have the same opportunity to do the same things that we do and partner with their elementary school and be able to have the same impact that we've had. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. I'm just going to go ahead and just scan through. These are some of the things that we have done with our partners with Broward Sheriff's Office. And what I want to do is, and we've done some things where last year the BSO, they had actually a picnic for the students that had helped out throughout the year. So we've done that. We've had situations where we've actually even had like a summit where they're able to have dialogue between BSO and the high schoolers. And this was just happened last week when we had where we had Santa. I've got a video that I would like to show, and let me see if I can tee that up. And as that's getting teed up, this is what Beacon, which is the schools, Broward County Schools video team, or media program.
Well, this is our second annual toy drive. What we do is we collect toys with our students and benefactors for the students at the Pompano Beach Elementary School next door. The concept came up from our Moss Club, Make Our Schools Safe.
It's extremely heartfelt. It's warm. It gives the students, because here we make sure that our students learn by doing, and serving others is a big part of the learning experience here at Pompano Beach High School. And our students, they feel more connected to making life better for others by giving more.
Oh my gosh, it is priceless to see the look on the kids' faces. When you hand them a present, their eyes light up. Like you've made all of their dreams come true. It's truly an amazing experience.
It was honestly such like a rush, seeing all these like little tiny children coming towards us, and we just know we're about to like brighten their day and make their holiday season even better. Like that was so important for us, and I really think we were able to meet that goal.
I think it's a joy to all these wonderful boys and girls enjoying the spirit of Christmas and the gift of receiving. And like I said, this is only one stop. I have 19 more days of handing out wonderful Christmas to these wonderful kids.
Awesome! I love it!
So again, those are just some of the things that we're doing. And Zoe had talked about it, but I just want to just reiterate, we're currently working with Blanche Ely to expand what we're doing so that they can duplicate what we're doing. So we just wanted just to let you all know what's happening, in your city with your high schoolers, with your fellow individuals that are providing protection for us. So thank you for your time.
Wow, thank you very much, Colonel Johnson. I appreciate that and appreciate all the efforts over there. Yes, thank you. Also like to thank the Broward Sheriff's Office, of course, for their involvement and participation in supporting initiatives like this. It makes a big difference, and I know that is part of the Sheriff's Office outreach to try and bridge that gap between the community and law enforcement, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Before we go further, I just want to mention, I want to personally thank Vicente Thrower. Vicente, he helped me with the idea to help recognize Dr. Ferraro. Thank you for that, Vicente. Appreciate that. All right, that takes us up to audience to be heard. Do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard?
Yes, Mayor. We have 6 speakers.
Very good.
First speaker, Zachary Cook, followed by Serica Peterson, followed by Allison Arrero.
Just come forward and give your name and address for the record. And please limit your remarks to 3 minutes.
Okay, one moment here. Let me pull up my notes. Just want to show you a quick picture, Mr. Harden. It's my first meeting ever, by the way. I remember when you ran for city commission in 2008, and there's a picture of me right in front of the Walgreens in front of your sign.
Yep.
So as I said, my name is Zachary Cook, 603 Northeast 9th Avenue, Pompano Beach, Florida, longtime resident. The reason I'm here today, actually, is to speak on the matter of our, sorry about that. My notes are a bit mixed up. Could you give me one moment, or am I already on the clock here? So sorry. There it is. Okay. Okay, just want to show you guys the photos as they scroll by. But basically, the Pompano Beach Pier, as you guys know, was rebuilt a few years ago. And an issue we're having right now is on the big blue sails that basically sit over the pier. A few weeks ago, it was November 16th of 2023, we had no more than 30-mile-per-hour winds that took out 2 of those sails. Earlier today, I went by just to double check, make sure what I could see and inspect just from my own visual eyes. Pictures are being shown here. The other 2 tarps have lots of rips, tears. Some of the cable ties that are half-inch thick steel are being held together with zip ties. There's also a lot of corrosion on the far east side, north pole of one of them that is gonna need some attention. The reason I bring this up is not just because it looks bad. Obviously, this is a brand new pier, and this has already been a problem several times now, and I understand there is budget and insurance for all these things, but the big concern that I have is the safety of the people that are on that pier. Not just the people, but the water underneath it. If we have plastic zip ties that break off and go into the ocean, that's gonna find its way into the marine life. If those big blue tarps get ripped out to sea, we're not gonna retrieve those. If somebody's walking back from the end of the pier, back out during a storm or a freak storm that we had the other week, what's to say that it's not gonna fall on their heads, injure them, kill them, maim them? These are not issues that none of us wanna see. So the big thing that I really wanna bring to your attention today is please be aware that this is a serious issue. This is our #1 tourist spot in the city, the Pompano Beach Pier. Thousands of people per day go by there, and this is what we're showing them. This is what they're expected to, their warm welcome to Pompano is what they're seeing right here, and not to mention the safety aspect. So if it was you walking under this in a storm, you would want to know that this was going to not fall on your head or something could happen. And like I said, this pier is only 4 years old, and this is the 3rd or 4th time I believe that this has happened. Like I said, long-term resident, been here my whole life. Pompano Beach Elementary, Pompano Beach Middle, Ely High. I've seen all the changes this town has brought. A lot of it's been positive, and this pier is beautiful, but I urge every single one of you to think of a permanent solution for this before something catastrophic does happen, for the sake of our safety and marine life. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. And yes, we are working on that issue as we speak. Thank you very much.
Sarah Peterson, 4354 Northwest 9th Avenue. So I'm going to start off saying affordability is a big term that I'm using right now because, as you all know, everybody is looking for how to afford to live where they live. I recently took a position December 4th with an organization called YWCA, and it is because they have a program for teen entrepreneurship. I took the position because it has to focus on Broward County, and I made sure that I was able to focus on Pompano. And I wanted to let you all know, just bring it to your attention, that we will be focusing the Broward 360 program for teen entrepreneurship here in Pompano Beach. Our cohort is to meet 60 students, ages from middle school to high school. And I met with Assistant City Manager Suzette Sybil to talk about, just making sure that this city has a vision to include entrepreneurship in everything that we're doing, and especially expanding it to the teens, because I've been an entrepreneur longer than I knew it was a word. So having this program in this city is going to also, I think, help people understand how we can start increasing our income. If you look at the wealth disparity between the average black family and the average white family, it's a 17-to-1. So I have a vested interest in making sure that this program is reaching the underserved and underprivileged community. If you have any students in your district that you think will benefit from this program, please contact me. I'm the coordinator, and I've already met with Ms. Sybil, so that we can talk about how some of the resources that the city have can aid in even reaching even more and adults in this program, because entrepreneurship is definitely, I think, one of the solutions we can get towards helping people make more money and be able to afford to stay in this city that we love, because as things go up, people need to make more money. So just wanted to let you know, the organization's YWCA. I'm the teen coordinator for this program, and it's for entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Congratulations on that. Appreciate it. Next speaker.
Allison.
Hello.
Hi, Allison Aurelio, Pompano Beach resident since 2012. I'm here again. I was last here on September 26th in regards to the streetlights in my neighborhood that are very bright, to say the least. I was here for the safety aspect of it. I made photos of the streetlights to try to get the message across. I was in touch with Horatio twice. We had a very pleasant conversation. We had a great connection. We were working well together, and then he just disappeared. I know that the streetlights were changed. There was a shield put up once, and the preceding light that I mentioned last time, I appreciated very much that it was taken down. But the current new street light is still there, and this is a before picture of the street light. This was before in front of my house, and if you see how I'm standing, I'm very clear. And this is after. Here again, because I haven't heard from Horatio since October 2nd. I've texted him when I was going away on vacation, when I came back from vacation, and then just to follow up, and I still haven't heard back from him about anything. It's still very, very, very bright. This is the after, this is the before of me in front of my house. I don't feel safe when I come home at night. I mentioned last time, I have had people stop by at the base of my driveway and they see me getting out of my car. I bought the home for protection, for privacy. There is no privacy at my home anymore. This is again after the shield was put up. This is me standing, the person that took this was standing on the sidewalk. This is my home again. It shines into my house, very, very much so, in the front windows. So thank you for listening to me again. If you could please address this issue, I work with you, whatever. Please, thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks. This is the last picture. This is what I see when I open my front door. Just that's the Thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Next speaker, Phyllis Smith, followed by Pat Anderson.
Very good.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Perkins, Commissioner Moss, Commissioner Fournier, Commissioner Eaton, Vice Mayor McGee, Mayor Harding, City Manager Mr. Harrison, and Tracy, City Attorney. I just want to give you a little background about Cayuse City. Cayuse City is a place where we have been underserved for years. No one seemed to have cared about Cayuse City. When Cayuse City needed something, Cayuse City was always given somebody else's leftovers. Then the new addition to the McNair Park was added. Beautiful football field. They left out the concession stand, and they took the building that was supposed to be for special events and for meetings and turned it into a concession stand and weight room. Now, during the process of all of this, before this happened, that was supposed to be our meeting room. And I'm very much disappointed because Cayuse City Civic Association was supposed to meet there in that building. And they put weights in it and turned it into a gym when the gym and the weight room was supposed to be by the basketball courts inside the McNair building. And it appears that when the community says what they want to have in the community, we speak up, but it appears to fall on deaf ears. We don't get what we ask for. We get what somebody else want to give us. I was born in Pompano. Right over there, now it's a church. I know what my community needs. I'm out there. The people who's making the decisions about what I want in my community does not live in my community. They do not drive by my community. They don't know what the people want because they don't come out to the meetings, they don't talk to the people. And I thank you, Commissioner Moss, because you do come out there, you do care, you do listen to what the citizens of Cayuse City wants. And I thank you for that. Even Commissioner Perkins comes out and she talks to the people so she can see what the people of Cayuse City is looking for, what they're stating that they want, but we're not getting it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Mr. Mayor, may I add to what
Commissioner Moss?
Smith? You know, Phyllis is absolutely correct. It seems to me as though in the mind of a lot of people, Cayuse City is about one thing and one thing only: cowboys, 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 cowboys. And we spent millions and millions of dollars in redoing the McNair Center, and it's all about the cowboys, the cowboys, the cowboys, the cowboys. There was supposed to be a room where the community could have a meeting, and that didn't materialize. It became an exercise room. Then the community was told that, well, you can have your meetings in that room and we'll just move the exercise equipment over to the side. Well, they tried that once and scratched the floor, so that put the kibosh to that. Then I met with representatives of the city, and we went over to the old part of the building to talk about making one of those rooms into a meeting room. That still hasn't happened. So we've spent millions of dollars on that facility, and it's very beautiful, it is very impressive, but it serves the needs of only, in my estimation, a small portion of Collier City. And in this world, the ones who make the noise, the most noise, usually get the squeaky wheel gets the oil. But on many levels, that McNair Park has been a disappointment. It's all about the Cowboys and nobody and nothing else. So I would like the city manager and the city administration to see what they can do about providing a space for the community to meet in. They still have to go to the library across the street, and quite frankly, the library doesn't want them there. So all of that money, and all for the Cowboys, and nothing for anybody else. So I think any objective viewer would have to say that it's very disappointing. Cowboys are not the only game in Pompano Beach, and certainly not the only game in Collier City. But to go to that park, you would think that it's all about them. It's all about them. And even now, with the millions of dollars that have been spent on that McNair Park renovation, the Cowboys are still unhappy. Still unhappy. We haven't given them enough. So I would like to ask the city manager to take another look at what's been done there to see if we can find a space where members of the community, be it the Collier City Civic Association or any other group, can have a meeting. How often, how much is that exercise room used? Is it used a great deal? Maybe it's not used enough. Maybe it should be put back into a meeting room. Anyway, in my view, that renovation was a disappointment. It was all about the Cowboys. And while it very beautifully serves a portion of that community, it doesn't serve the whole community. So I'm just going to add to Phyllis's comments. I know that how she feels is felt by many people in Collier City. Thanks.
Very good. I appreciate those comments, and I'm sure that Mr. Harrison will take those to heart, and he will let us know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Just to remind everyone, the equipment that was purchased to put in that room for workout equipment was purchased with wheels that lock and unlock and should have been able to be moved around without damaging the floor. This is the first I've heard about that. So anyway, we will look into it and see what the best options are to present to you.
Well, we were told by Horatio that the exercise equipment could not be moved because it would damage the floor. So beautiful new multi-million-dollar facility, and the Collier City Civic Association has yet to use it. Not one day. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Harrison has heard, and he will look into it. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ms. Smith and Commissioner Moss. Appreciate that. Next speaker, Pat Anderson.
Good afternoon. This is Pat Russell Anderson, and I am a 30-year resident in Pompano Beach on Sailfish Canal. And Sailfish Canal is making worldwide news the way my place got smashed by Qualman Marine, and there's no records of it. And I really ask you to please look into it. Greg Harrison, Mark Berman know how I feel. I got engaged, okay? I want to get married. But my house has a smash to it, and no one's telling about it. And now it's shared by Lighthouse Point and Pompano Beach. My address is now in Lighthouse Point. And there's a attorney named Michael Peasy, who was your, or is, your attorney for Miguel Nunez, who had my permit approved by you after the smash and no record of the smash. He got fired, and I'm left with damages to my home. I was served with code compliance for dock and seawall to my house. I don't even own a barge. I spent $300,000 to get code compliance. I don't even have a receipt that I had that approval done. I need construction claim for this company, which is now owned, the house is owned by 2 people. They've gone into construction with no records because they did it through Lighthouse Point, and they are now in Lighthouse Point, where I am. I'm next door. It's a mess. So I want to tell you that Michael Peasy is also involved with people I work with from the Mike High and down in Calier Ocho, Ball and Chain. And they're the ones that just got the $50-60 million for code harassment. I think I have code harassment. It's selective code harassment. It's excessive code harassment. And I have no receipts that I passed. And I just think you should get that involved, because that house next door has a pending on it, and it cannot be sold. It cannot be sold because they built over the seabed against Army Corps of Engineers. And it's being advertised in multiple listings with false advertising to another house that belongs to Helen Christos in Lighthouse Point. They use the same photographs, and this has been sent out to every member at Broward County Property Appraisers, and the VAB said that we had no effect. They didn't even know it was owned by 2 houses, 2 facilities. So I think you should really look into it. I'm going to leave all this with Kervin, and this is how Compass Realty. This is against what we live for. You're going to sell property underwater, right? Who owns it?
Very good.
You got to pay attention.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Mayor, that concludes audience to be heard.
Very good. Thank you for that. That takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion approving item 1 through 5, 7, and 9 through 13?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 6 is, what is it? It's a resolution.
Mayor?
I'm sorry, who was that? Commissioner Perkins.
Yeah, I pull item 5.
Oh, 5?
Yes.
I had 6. Okay, okay, then let's,
5 and 8.
we already approved 5, but what do we need to do, Tracy? Do we need to reconsider?
Rescind the approval.
Just I'm sorry, what was that?
Motion to rescind the approval.
Is there a motion to rescind approval of item number 5?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item number 5 then is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach,
Is
Florida.
that microphone on?
It is on. I'll bring it a little closer. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a grant agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection, accepting a grant in the amount of $200,000 for renovations at the Pompano Beach Ultimate Sports Park, and confirming the city's contribution in an amount of $200,000, providing an effective date.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to get an update on, Mr. Joe Ballard came before the commission to ask about adding a 8-lane or 6-lane track at the Ultimate Park, and I wanted to know, based on the $200,000 that we receive, are we making changes or redoing the park based on the funding that we received? the grant funding.
Boudreau?
Boudreau, Recreation Director. No, this has nothing to do with the track. This is money that's earmarked for the synthetic turf field, picnic shelter, landscaping, and restroom concession stand.
Okay, so what is the start date for the Ultimate Park?
I'm sorry,
Start
ma'am?
date for construction.
Start date for
What is the
construction,
start
do you know
date
that,
for
Mr. Boudreau?
construction?
No, that's not under my purview.
Can anyone answer, staff?
That is being reviewed, Commissioner, with regards to the track being added to it, so there's a
Yes.
number of things going on. I don't know when that's going to start.
Okay, so, well, my question to the city manager, are we going to include the track into this project? Now, I know this item is about the grant and the 200,000, but since we're talking about the Ultimate Park, I wanted to get some clarification for the residents that have been asking me about the track and the start date of construction.
So we are reviewing all of the components of that project to include a track to see what the funding need would be. And we're not ready yet. We're reviewing it. We're going to do our own in-house review, and then we're going to get with the contractor who had been awarded that project without the track to see what they think. And once all of that is done, we will be coming back to the city commission to make a decision.
Okay, so do you think we'll be able to start construction this year? I mean, excuse me, 2024?
I would think sometime in 2024, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, great. And we are considering the track. Okay, that was my only question, but I think the 200,000 grant is great. Thank you.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Vice Mayor?
This is separate, but since we're talking about this park and the synthetic turf, are we following along and discussing, I know the NFL has been chatting amongst itself about doing away with synthetic turf as for heat issues and injuries, and I don't know, definitely not an expert in it, but I just know that there's discussions on it, so I just wanted to make sure we were following along with what they're.
Yeah, we've seen that literature, Commissioner. There's discussion back and forth on synthetic turf fields. Some NFL teams are removing it. Some still continue to build them. And it's our position that we like synthetic turf fields. The kids enjoy the synthetic turf fields, and we continue to build synthetic turf fields.
Okay, excellent. I just want to make sure that we're all keeping on top of whatever the data is that we're getting.
Very good. Further commission discussion, questions? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 6 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a license agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and PBFC, Pal Hammerheads, Inc., to use the athletic fields at Community Park to provide soccer programs for youth ages 5 to 18, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded for discussion. This item was pulled erroneously. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions. Commissioner Perkins, then Commissioner Fournier.
Yes, I am concerned with the grant awarded, I guess you would say fish or whatever that's going to be placed at the new.
This is, Commissioner, this is item number 6. Sorry.
The soccer. Okay, I'm sorry.
This is soccer.
Oh, I'm thinking we own 8. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure, not a problem. You still have the floor.
No, I'm done.
Done? Okay.
I'm waiting on 8.
Okay. Commissioner Fournier?
Since you have this one pulled, I just want to say there are the hammerheads, the riptides, the piranhas, they were all renewals in here, and it's great to have them continuing in our city.
Very good. For the commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, item number 8 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and accepting the city's fiscal year 2024 annual public art plan and directing staff to proceed with the projects included therein, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Perkins and Vice Mayor McGee. So Commissioner Perkins?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. What page is that?
Commissioner Perkins, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Oh, on page 34 of the packet that we just received,
It's 34.
yes, I think there will be a few concerns in the community regarding this particular fish. And I know we're late in the game trying to make a change, but I think there will be some kickback from the community regarding this design for this particular fish for this particular location. So if it's at all possible, I would like for staff to consider maybe switching out or maybe bringing a different design for the new activity center for this particular artwork.
It's Laura Atria, the city's public art program manager. That sculpture's been installed for probably about 6 years, and it's actually located at the library in District 1 by the beach. So I think, are you referring to the new senior center?
Yes, it says here, grant awarded District 4 Community Foundation grant.
That image doesn't have to do with, that image does not have to do with that grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just an example of one of our painted pompano fishes.
Oh.
So yeah, that's already installed. That's not getting moved. If you want to move it, we could discuss it, but that's not at the new senior center. So the project that it's talking about is actually, it's a grant that was awarded to the city with the Parks and Rec department that I've been helping them with. And we're working with an artist group. Actually, 2 of our Bailey Contemporary artists in residence from last year received the grant. And they're going to be doing community engagements where they work with the seniors, and then they're going to design 4 acoustic sound panels that'll be hanging in the building.
Okay, great, because I know when I looked at the fish, I thought the background doesn't look familiar. But
Yes, sorry.
I see the fish, but not the background, but I did notice District 4. Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Vice Mayor McGee.
Yeah, I had met with Public Art and Cultural Affairs earlier to discuss my concern with the project, the Mini Meccan project on here.
I'm sorry.
The
which
Mini
project?
Meccan. It's,
Oh, Mini Meccan.
yeah, the Mini Meccan. It's just, I love our shipwreck art project, and we have on display for a year, and then it goes down there. But I do have a lot of concern on the duplication idea and recreating art that's already been created, and just instead of going in new directions and keep it fresh and interesting and changing it up every time. So I just wanted to make a motion that we just take that project specifically out and keep the funds in the fund to then figure out something new and fresh to bring through our through our public arts group.
Okay. So you're making a motion that we remove
The Mini Meccan.
that artwork, but leave the...
No. It hasn't been made yet. It hasn't been fully, the idea was to make a copy of the one we already sank and bring it back. And, to an extent, when you start copying art that's already made, it sort of devalues the original. And I have a concern where that's where we start this trend of just making ones and then, mass creating and multiplying them. And instead of doing that, I would just like to send it back to public art to come up with something new as opposed to recreating something we already did.
Okay, so then your motion is to remove that
From this
piece of
specific
artwork
plan.
from that specific plan and have them come up with some other piece of artwork for that plan. That's
Well, I'm going to give them some free range on what to do with just a new art, to throw it back to public art so we can then move forward with figuring out
Could I?
Okay, yeah.
She might be able to speak it better.
Yeah, I just want to see, okay, so, but it is to remove that piece of art, basically,
plan.
from the plan and throw it back to public art for them to come up with a different idea. That's your
Yes.
motion. Okay, is there a second? Okay, there's a second. So now we've got a motion on the floor. So now, Ms. Tria, could you explain
So,
how this, where we're at?
Basically, I think what she's trying to say is just to strike that project, because we haven't created it yet. It was just a project that was brought to us, to strike that project from the plan, and then just to take the funding and place it back into the Public Art Fund to use later for a different project.
Exactly.
Okay, not to plug something else in there, in other words. Okay, so to reprogram the funds also for some other project, then that would be part of the motion.
Yes.
Okay, that's a little different than.
Okay, so augmenting the motion to strike this from the 2024 plan, the mini Meccan project, take the funds, put it back into public art to be used at a later date somewhere.
That's the motion. Commissioner Signerson-Eaton?
Yes, second.
Okay, so that's the motion. Very good. I've got a question. Who came up with this idea? Why is it in there? Why is it in the plan?
So when we're working on another project that's been previously approved, it's a light pole project near the wash house across the street by Bailey Contemporary Arts. The artist, Tyler Fuqua Creations, submitted 2 designs. One design we actually selected for that piece, but one of the other designs was a mini Meccan that hung from the light pole. The committee thought it would be interesting to not put it there, but put it by the beach where we had originally had the original Meccan. And we know just how much the community loved that piece, how upset they were that it was gone. So the committee thought this would be a smaller thing to place over there. We also brought it to Earl Bosworth, and he thought it was a great idea as well. And the committee just kind of motioned that we would just place it on the plan and move forward with it that way.
Actually, Vice Mayor?
And so my concern on all this is that sort of, public art's been doing an amazing job in getting art into Pompano. But at the same time, especially on the beach, there's a lot. And real estate for art is scarce, and trying to make sure we're bringing new things for people to come back and see, for tourists who've been here. That's why I love the Shipwreck Art Project, because, it changes every 2 years and someone comes back around to it. That plus when you recreate art, it does sort of, it's a recreation, it's a copy of the original. And it just is one of those things that it could be fun, and that's a separate note of this is that I do wish that, the cultural art plan, public art plan would come to us sooner before we get to this stage to have these discussions, because it makes it a little bit later and then you have to figure out how to do a motion. But just I feel like we can take it and bring something new and bring something else, using these funds instead of throwing the funds at it right now. I think if we go back to the drawing board, we can bring something even more awesome for the community to freshly enjoy.
Okay. Further, Commissioner Fournier?
Thank you, Mayor. I understand what you're saying about like the dilution of it if you replicate something, but this one's a little different because I do think there was such emotional attachment to this Meccan artwork, and it's in Shipwreck Park now, which a lot of people don't access. Some people do, but a lot of people don't go out and dive and see that. So can you tell me where this was going to be at the beach? 'Cause
It would have been at the pole, the light pole, and that's true if it passes. We haven't done the engineering and all that, so, we go through all that process, but we were looking at the light pole right where Meccan was installed.
Okay, so would people be able to take pictures with mini Meccan again, or it's up high?
It would be up higher. And I want to note too, we are putting a plaque there. So where Pirates Treasure Chest was, there's a plaque located there so people can still know that there was an artwork there at one point. We are going to be putting a plaque where Meccan was as well, and with a QR code where you can watch the video of us sinking it to where that was.
Okay, I do like the idea of somehow saving pieces of these artwork, even just the emotional part of it where you can access it, not necessarily a small version of it, but people are used to seeing these items at the beach, it's artwork, and then it's just gone. So I don't know that we need mini versions of all of them, but plaques seem like a good idea, so thank you.
I don't want
Okay.
That's it, thank you.
I don't want to give away too much, but we were discussing maybe trying to figure out some sort of like augmented reality, interactive way to do it. And yeah, I agree, we need to preserve what we've done and have a way to access it. But if we start, was one artist going to be pissed that theirs wasn't recreated in mini version, and then just we have a bunch of minis of everything everywhere, and it's understood.
Very good, very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I'm very glad to see that we're going to be looking for a place in District 2 to do a fish. So we roundly thinking about North Pompano Park. I believe we had one at City Center at some point.
There's one at City Center still.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So another thing too, that many years ago when Copans Road was widened, and I've talked to a number of people who have the lot throughs that abut the road, and there had been talk, or some say there was a promise made about a sound barrier wall there, and I think we had, I don't know, I'm just putting it out there as a thought process, and I know we love murals, so if we had a continuous wall, all the same, and a mural on it, that might be a phenomenal art installation here for Pompano in the north end of the city, which, notwithstanding the old downtown, which is, sort of a unique area, but the rest of the north side of the city. So I just want to put that out there for everybody.
Very good.
I love that idea too, and we're looking into more. We're coming to the end of the 10-year public art master plan in the next couple years, so we're starting to do outreach. Next year we'll be doing a lot more outreach to see what the community, what you guys have input for. The beginning of the 10-year master plan really was kind of creating a name for us, which I really think we've achieved for our public art and our arts, which is really amazing. So now we have the opportunity to take it to the next level and to go into many other avenues of our city, not just, kind of like the downtown and those areas, but to just really kind of go throughout everywhere.
Very good. Okay, let's stay focused on the motion that is on the floor. So there's a motion on the floor to remove the mini Meccan H2O artwork and throw it back to the Public Art Committee and let them come up with another idea.
Would you repeat that? I was out of the room.
There is a motion on the floor to remove the mini Meccan H2O sculpture project from the plan and throw it back to the Public Art Committee and let them come up with some other idea for that amount of funding. Okay. In other words, not to replicate the Meccan H2O, but to still leave the funds in there for some other artwork. That is the motions have been made by Vice Mayor McGee and seconded by Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you.
At this point in time, let's open it up. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on the motion? Please come forward. Just give your name and address for the record. And this is strictly on the motion to remove the one artwork.
Still on that motion?
Yes.
Just on that motion, not on the whole public art plan yet. You'll have a chance for that if you like.
Sounds good. Yeah, I would like that as well. I personally, when that original sculpture went up, I thought it was great. I saw a lot of locals and tourists taking pictures with it and stuff like that. So I think whatever the decision moving forward is either, I understand what you're saying because it's almost like a cover song. You're kind of taking away from the original a little bit. And again, but the contrary is not that many people go diving offshore to go see the original as well. So personally, I'm for either which way because it looks great for the people loving to get pictures, posting it online. It looks great for our city. If you come up with something new, I'm sure it'll be equally as awesome.
Sir, just your name and address for the record. I'm sorry.
My name is Zachary Cook, 603 Northeast 9th Avenue, Pompano Beach.
Very good. Further input from the public on the motion? Seeing none, public input closed. Further commission discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes?
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Now we're on the Public Art Master Plan as it has been amended. So this is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public? Please come forward. Just give your name and address for the record.
Deja vu. Zachary Cook, 603 Northeast 9th Avenue, Pompano Beach. On that matter, The library right next door here, just a ginormous white canvas begging to be painted, and I can't tell you how many times I've brought family members from out of town or friends from out of town, and they think that that building is actually just a part of City Hall. They don't even realize that's a library unless you go and look it up online. There's not much out there that says library. And with the opportunity that you guys have to paint something maybe on the side of that, or at least just the front side facing Atlantic, just to kind of let people know, oh, that is a library. I'm sure they could integrate some sort of sea life or something with books and, something to kind of let people know that that is a library and not just some random building with jig-jags on the rooftop. That'd be my personal thing that I would love to see get done. I mean, I love the fish. I love all the other artwork that we have, the guitars and the pianos across the street on the floor. But yeah, I mean, you got a big white canvas there. Do something with it,
Very good idea. Thank you for that. I'm sure there's lots of people listening. Name and address to the record.
Vicente Thrower, 1890 Northwest 6th Avenue. So, Mayor, listen, now you know where we live at. Where is our tigers at? Because, see, we still got these boxes and stuff that need to be rewrapped with tigers and stuff to the mayor, to the manager. Where is our tigers at in this plan? Because we want some more tigers.
More tigers?
Yeah, we want some more tigers. And I also saw some artwork. I want to see some Richie Rich and the Monopoly Man, too. Can we add him something? This is public art. I want to see the Monopoly Man on some stuff.
Maybe you ought to fill out an application to join the Public Art Committee.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man, where's the Monopoly Man at? Now, come on, for real, though. We can't, a Disney World or something. We can't put no Donald Duck, some stuff. For real, though.
I think we're trying to, just have...
I just want a whole bunch of fishes all over the place. I like fish. I like our logo.
Each fish is unique. Each fish is, and all of our public art is very unique. It's all different.
Okay, but for our neighborhood, Mayor, y'all can do the tornadoes on the east side of town, but we want the tigers on ours. So, Mayor, we want to see some more tigers.
Okay.
To the manager, we want to see some more tigers. We're going to be at City Hall next time. More tigers. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further input from the public. This is our Public Art Master Plan discussion. Just name and address for the record.
4354 Northwest 9th Avenue. When I looked at the master plan, I'm not sure. There was a grant given for doing something over by the wash house, doing a mural on the wash house, and that's before it tears down, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that grant specifically for that, or can it be used for anything as far as public arts?
It has to be used towards the Artist in Residence program. So it's not even really towards public art per se. It's more towards the Artist in Residence program that we have over at the Bailey Contemporary Arts.
Okay. I was just my opinion. With that grant money, we're going to paint something that's going to be torn down. I think it could be used more towards something else. I'm talking about the side of the building. If I'm not mistaken, that's what's going to happen, right?
Correct. And I believe another contingency for the grant, though, is that it has to be temporary.
Okay.
So it is temporary.
Temporary on a building?
It's temporary work. And so we wanted to partner with the county to kind of help promote our artists in residence and give them opportunities. So with them being able to create large murals like that, a lot of them have talked about how they wanted in the mural game. They don't get accepted for projects because they don't have large murals. So this is a way to also help them build their resume to help them get accepted for projects.
So it will only be for the artists in residence in Pompano and not outsourced to anybody to come in and do?
It's specifically for our artists in residence that are currently this class at Bailey Contemporary Arts.
And when is that building slated to be done? So how long will that be up?
I believe it's a year and a half to 2 years. So it'll be up for a while.
Okay, and what's the budget for that?
It really varies. We got a $50,000 grant, but that doesn't just go all towards that.
Right.
It goes to helping the artists in residence doing many different kind of pop-up art exhibits. And the budget we have for the one on the south wall, we're doing a painted mural. That is, I believe, $7,200, and $7,200. And the other one, we want to do vinyls, and so each artist will give us one-time reproductive rights to put their images onto vinyl wraps, and they'd be awarded $1,000 to use their rights.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, we've already taken, thank you. Please come forward. Ms. Atria will be available afterwards. Yes, Ms. Smith, name and address.
Phyllis Smith, 24, my who?
Miss, very good,
Pompano Beach.
very good.
Are we making plans now? That's what this is?
Well, this is public input on the
Giving,
public
like,
art master
ideas?
plan. This is
okay.
the 2024 public art master plan.
Okay. Because I was thinking with the McNair Center and the whole wall is blank, we have a lot of professional people who've come from out of Collier City. Maybe their pictures can go on the walls at the McNair Center, like Henry Crockett, Zach Crockett, Baltimore quarterback.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, Eddie Jones, those guys, maybe their pictures can go on the walls.
I would like to we're actually working on a project where we're doing that right now, so.
Okay.
So perfect.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Further input from the public. Seeing none, public input closed. Further commission discussion. Commissioner Moss.
On page 29, you've got the sculpture Pez Nouveau that was in Palmyra. It's gone. Is it coming back?
Yeah, it's actually being repainted right now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Very good. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yeah, where, you were just talking about the photographs or the images of some of the successful people from where is that going?
That's going on the McNair's Community Center, Civic Center.
Where?
The
McNair Community Center?
Community Center, McNair Community Center. It's going right near, it's not going on that big wall facing that part of the street. It's on the south wall right next to the entrance. We're working with artist Stephen Teller, who's actually very well known for murals. It's an honor that we get to, I'm so excited to work with him.
He did the one on the alley, didn't he?
He's done a few in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. That's all I need to know. Thanks.
Very good. Further commission questions, concerns?
Yes, Mayor.
Commissioner Perkins.
I'd like to suggest that the art department or the art committee meet with the individual elected officials when they are putting any kind of art into that district, to give us the opportunity to give our input, because I think what you're doing right now is you're just all over the city just putting art in, and I think you should meet with each commissioner to inform them of what you're proposing to do before we receive it here on the dais. And if I am okay to make a motion to that?
Sure.
That I make a motion that the art department meet with the individual commissioners before placing any artwork into their districts.
Commissioner, could I just clarify that? So are you requesting staff to get with you before they put this on our agenda? Or are you asking before any particular item goes into a particular district?
Before any item goes into any particular district.
Because, I mean, this
I know.
This talks about art going into the district, so.
Right. Well, the reason I'm suggesting this as well is because I know I had some issues with the artwork that you're doing on MLK under the overpath. And of course, by the time it came to my attention, it was a done deal. So it could not be changed. But I would have loved to have had some input, along with a few people from the community input before that was even done. And that's why I'm suggesting that, so that everybody will feel a part of what you're doing and agree with what you're doing.
And to add on to that as well, we came back and met again. I'm not sure if you were here during that time, and we're going to be working with community members. I believe we're going to go to Pat Larkin's as well as the New Senior Center and have them work on the mosaic pieces to actually help create some of them that we install.
And this is no way to disrespect those people that were appointed to be on the art committee. because I think they're seeing it through different eyes as well. But if we could all come together on one page, we'll feel more comfortable with what you're providing for our districts.
Of course.
But here, I'm just trying to clarify, because it's,
So I'm not making a motion based on the annual artwork plan. My motion is moving forward in the future when there is artwork to be done in someone's district sitting on this dais, that you would go to that commissioner, and let them know what you're planning to do or what type of artwork you're bringing into their district before it comes to us on the agenda. I'm not talking about this art plan. This is totally different
okay.
as far as what we're voting for right now.
Okay, so that's your motion, to have staff come to you before any artwork goes into a particular district.
Yes, exactly.
That's your motion.
That's my
Okay,
motion,
there's a
yes.
motion on the floor.
Second?
That's, and it's been seconded by Vice Mayor McGee. Discussion on the motion. I've got Commissioner Moss.
I agree with what Commissioner Perkins is, where she's going. I would just say that before it even gets to that point, maybe they should come to us first before they even put it here.
Yes.
That way, we have an idea as to what it is they want to do. So before it comes to us, before it gets into this, goes this far,
Right.
you should meet with us. I mean, I think that's a good idea. So I would suggest maybe you amend your motion so that it's before it even gets this far.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm saying the same thing, but I think in a different way.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just restate the motion. Okay, I make a motion that staff reach out to each commissioner before placing any artwork into the art plan for for whatever year that is, 2024, 25, 26, whatever.
Second.
We already had a second on the original motion.
Already a
from
second, yeah.
Commissioner McGee, so, okay, sure. So is that clear? Okay.
That's clear.
All right, so this is, that's, okay. So we got a motion and a second to direct staff to come to each individual commissioner before any artwork is proposed for a district.
Right.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this particular item? Please come forward if you have comments on this motion. Name and address.
Hey, Zachary Cook, 603 Northeast 9th Avenue. I agree with you, but I don't want that to be a hard yes or no for every single piece of artwork. Because what if one of you are absent, or what if we can't get a vote, then the artwork just is dead on the table?
You can say you don't like the idea of being dead on the table. but-
I'm okay with the idea. I just think that we're starting to get into some red tape area. And I think that showing it is fine, but seeking approval for every single art piece is going to get to where we're never going to get art out there. Because what if it's going back for revision, and then it comes before you guys again, and then goes back for revision? We never even get a chance to see it at that point, and then it's basically designed by committee.
Very good.
Well, it's not to,
Commissioner Perkins?
basically, it's only to give input, is what I'm saying. We're not going to say to the art department, we don't want this, or we don't like that, or whatever. We just like to make some suggestions or ideas of what we think will be better fitting for whatever they're trying to do.
And I would remind the gentleman that we were elected to make those decisions.
Further input from the public on the motion? Okay, so we're still on the motion. Vice Mayor McGee?
And I think, communication is so important, and we're all very passionate about our districts and making sure everything. So I think, even more communication with the Public Art Committee, with what is coming to our districts, can only help refine and keep upping our game moving forward. So I think it'd be great. And call us whenever.
And if I could add to, our committee members have been making a very conscious effort to try to go to a lot of your commission meetings. I think they're having a little more once in your own districts, your district meetings, and trying to get input from the community so that we know, like, for the fish, what they want, for for the projects, like, what kind of theme are they looking for? Like, what is their idea of what do they envision for their district that they live in? So I know we're making more of an effort. I think we've always made an effort, but we're making more and more of an effort to really make sure that we're doing that.
Very good. Commissioner Fournier?
Yeah, I think this is important because no one wants to find out that something's too far along to make changes or provide input, and I think that's happened occasionally. So it's important that we get ahead of this and we have the opportunity to take that time to solicit feedback from the community and be involved in some of the detailed process. So I think this is a good idea.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, on the Public Art Committee, can you tell me the members? Is there a cross-section from every district?
Yes.
So every district is represented on the
Every district
committee,
is
yeah.
represented,
I take a little different attitude about this motion. I disagree. I think we have a Public Art Committee, and it's there for a reason. I don't want to be part of the Public Art Committee. I applaud what they do, and I applaud what the Public Art Department does. I think it adds diversity, richness to our community, and if we are going to be the litmus test, it's going to represent ultimately our feelings about art. I think art is very subjective, and it should be wide and varied, and I wouldn't want to stop the process, and I don't want to interject myself into that. Of course, I don't have a district, I have a city, so I guess I'm going to get to see everything. I get to see everything, you know? That's the way it works. But, so I mean, that's my personal feelings, so I'm going to vote no on this particular motion.
If I can also add, all the committee members have requirements. So we have requirements, not only that they're from every district, but also like we need an architect, we need a art teacher, so they have requirements and art backgrounds that qualify them to get onto the board. I'm also going to say per our guidelines, it states that anything under $25,000 we don't need to bring to the committee. I try to bring a lot of them to the commission. I try to bring a lot to the commission, especially if it's like a touchy, I feel more of like, I want to make sure you guys view it. And we also send memos out, but that's normally once it's already completed. If it's under 25, we'll send a memo out just so you guys know what it looks like and everything like that. But I think in the future, just sending all of you like, hey, look at this, we're far, you already approved this part, this is the proposal. Do you want a community engagement asset? Like any ideas or things like that, I think is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's as the commission wills. But I just personally, I don't agree with that. But that's okay. Commissioner Moss.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you.
That's fine.
Because not everything is appropriate in every district. For example, a sculpture of a deep sea diver would be not appropriate in Palm Air. And perhaps a painting of a golfer might not be appropriate on the beach. So this committee, I'll bet you, how many members of this committee are from District 5?
I don't know off the top, I can read you who's on the committee.
Well, it boils down to this, you know, I'm going to bet you, as I said before, a double chocolate chip macadamia cookie with sprinkles, that the overwhelming majority of the people on your committee couldn't find their way to Palm Air, let alone know very much about it. So I think by bringing it before the respective commissioner is a good idea, because one piece of artwork is not necessarily appropriate in every district. So
I will say the committee is very, very aware of all the districts, and they're very conscious of where they place it. The thought process and the amount of meetings we have to place any artwork is extensive.
You've heard me complain before that, you know, District 5 gets forgotten in these kinds of programs, and I believe that is so. But I'll tell you, the fish that you've got in Palm Air, I would have gladly forgone it. Forgone it?
It works. It works. Go with it.
It works. Because there are a handful of people in Palm Air who hate that fish with a purple passion, and every time I encounter them, I hear about it. So that's why I think it's a very good idea to bring it before the commissioners. Thanks.
Commissioner Moss, I have to say I disagree. I think a sculpture of a deep sea diver in District 5 would be marvelous, as I think a painting of a golfer in District 1 would also be marvelous.
Well, that deep sea diver might wind up in the C-14 canal.
Well, that would certainly express the desires of the folks in that neighborhood. I've got Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thanks, Mayor. And you know, as far as I can recall, every year for the past 5 years, this item has been a lot of discussion every year, and we really can't get into the minutia. I remember one year it was the color of seafoam green. That was objectionable. I remember another year where the Annie Gellis Park sculpture was disapproved completely and it had to be removed. I don't know where it went or who bought it or what ended up costing us, but the fact of the matter is we sit up here and we are trying to analyze art, which I agree, actually, by definition, is subjective. So, I mean, anything to head off this sort of discussion on the dais every year, I'm in favor of. So, okay, I hope we've discussed this enough. Thank you.
Before I let Vice Mayor go, I think Mr. Bosworth, you want to chime in real quick?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Earl Bosworth, Assistant City Manager. I hear you, and if I may, let me offer just some advice. Keep in mind your public art selection and commissioning process is an alternative procurement process. So if we make any changes here, we need to look at that whole code. If I'm hearing you correctly, and we had some meetings today, we can certainly ensure that staff comes back to you during the process so commissioners are more informed, but I don't think we want to get in a position where a single district commissioner is weighing in specifically on a yay or nay for an artwork. I think you let it go through the process. This commission in the past, over the years, has created and endorsed just an excellent public art selection procurement process. Keep that in mind. It's a procurement process. That's how we select and pay for art on a competitive basis. So I just would like, if it's the will of the committee to look at a different process, we would need to consult with the city attorney's office and then go from there. Or, as I said, we can assure you as staff that we'll bring more to you during the process and during those public outreach meetings prior to the annual plan. But I just want to make sure that the commission is aware of that this is a procurement process.
I appreciate that, Mr. Bosworth, because there was nothing was mentioned in the motion of any, approval or disapproval or anything. It was merely, okay, bringing it to the commissioner. But then it's up to the staff to figure out how to handle a situation between an individual commissioner who does not want a piece of art. I know it puts staff in a difficult position, but there was no yay or nay involved in the motion that was made and we're talking about.
Also, that procurement process won, I think, out of the entire country, an award in 2017 for its planning and guidelines. So it's a good process.
Very good. I've got Vice Mayor McGee.
I just wanted to agree with Commissioner Moss a lot with, the more input we can have along the time. I think Commissioner Moss and I share districts that like to tell us their thoughts in elevators and at Publix and wherever they find us. And probably the other commissioners too. And sometimes the feedback is, there's suddenly something that everyone hates. And it would be nice, I think, not just for city staff time, not wasting artists' time, getting too far along the process. If we've heard something about one project that we see similarity in another project, that we can be like, whoa, red flag, this is how it's going to be received. I think just more communication back and forth between the advisory board and the electeds can't hurt.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Perkins.
My idea of this to make it a motion is not to take any power away from the Public Art Committee. I know that all of us sitting on the dais, we're hearing from people in our district much more than the people that we'll appoint to put on the boards. I remember when we had the, I think it was some type of art we were trying to put on Annie Gillis Park. And I think the person that was appointed on the board did not see it in the way that the community would see it. Once you place that artwork there and the community does not like it, they're not going to complain to the person that I appointed on that board. They're going to point their finger at me. Why did you allow that to be placed on the park. We just feel it's inappropriate, it just does not relate, da-da-da-da. So with this motion, it's just only for suggestions and ideas from the commission, that's all. And it's just better communication, that's it. We're not trying to take the power from you and what you do, because you all are experts in what you do, which is great. So with that, I still like to make that motion. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. My final comment, it's like the process we currently have, we have a public art committee. They come up with these ideas and these artwork selections, and then it gets installed, and if the public doesn't like it, they complain to us when they see us in the grocery store or in the elevator or anywhere else, and at that point in time, we can politely tell them, well, you know what? Our public art committee is who chose that. And, be careful, because in the future, if somebody doesn't like some artwork, they're liable to say, well, why did you allow that to go forward the way it is? And now, putting yourself in the process, I'm not saying that having the committee is a dodge. It certainly is not. We are ultimately responsible for everything that goes on in the city, yes, but putting yourself in a position of making those kinds of inputs into the process is something else, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's all it is.
Any further discussion on the motion? We're still on the motion. Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seeger-Sneaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
No. All right. So we're still on the master plan. Any further discussion on the public art master plan? Very good. We've already had public input on the public art master plan, so we're ready to call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seeger-Sneaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, and that concludes our consent agenda. Mr. Harrison, how was that?
That's great, sir.
All right, let's see. What time? It's, we haven't even been here for 2 hours yet. Let's move on to our regular agenda. Item 14 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the execution and delivery of a lease purchase agreement between the City of Pompano Beach as lessee and TD Equipment Finance, Inc. as lessor with respect to the acquisition, purchase, financing, and leasing of certain equipment, authorizing the execution and delivery of documents required in connection therewith, and authorizing all other actions necessary to the consummation of the transactions contemplated by this resolution, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Ms. Furtado.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner. Happy holidays to you all. The Finance Department was requested to seek financing for acquisition of certain equipment for several departments that were approved in the 23-24 budget for capital outlay. After a review of several banks' proposal, it was determined that TD Bank provided the best terms to finance these acquisitions with a term of 5 years, locked interest rate of 4.41%. So therefore, the Finance Department is asking for your approval to proceed with TD Bank to finance the equipment for these lease agreements.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins? Commissioner Seeger-Sneaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 15 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to piggyback off the National Purchasing Cooperative's proposal number 635-21 with awarded vendor In Situ Form Technologies, LLC, for cured-in pipe rehabilitation services and to execute an agreement for cured-in pipe rehabilitation services number 12199 between the City of Pompano Beach and In Situ Form Technologies, LLC, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Randy Brown, Utilities Director. This is a contract to line our wastewater gravity mains. I think you remember remember seeing a short video clip of that during our bond projects, so this is what this contract's for.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins, Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 16 is the second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a construction agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Cutting Edge Industries Incorporated to provide landscaping, installation, and maintenance services, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second?
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Donovan.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. Brian Donovan, Assistant City Manager. This is a second reading of ordinance. There have been no changes since first reading, and that concludes my comments.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins, Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 17 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 34, City Policy of the City of Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by creating Section 34.009, City's logo, to provide restrictions on usage of the city's design mark, logo, or worded mark, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second?
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. This is the second reading of an ordinance. I've spoken to Mr. Berman. There have been absolutely no changes between first and second reading. I'm available if you have any questions.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission concerns, questions? Vice Mayor.
Just to reiterate the ideas, I really think that we should look into using our officially licensed logo to make officially licensed merchandise and sell from tourism offices or the cultural center or something, because I think people would appreciate being able to buy officially licensed hats, yetis, whatever we feel like doing.
Okay, well, you can get with Mr. Harrison and talk with him about it. There you go, Mr. Harrison. It was a lateral over to you. Further commission discussion. I've got Commissioner Fournier, then Commissioner, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor.
No, that's it.
Okay. I've got Commissioner Fournier, then Commissioner Moss. Commissioner?
To the Vice Mayor's point, I don't know how this ordinance and then selling merchandise with our logo, they seem a little in conflict to me, what we're passing here. So I guess the city manager could approve of that. But this, I struggled with this one the last time, and I still do. I don't think there's any way to enforce this, and I don't think we should pass things that you can't really enforce. So that's it. Thank you.
Sure. Commissioner Moss.
What is this official city emblem? Is it this one up here? Or is it if it's not, why is that there?
We haven't bothered changing it yet.
So it is Florida's Warmest Welcome is the official one, and this is just a blast from the past. Is that right?
This is a seal.
That may still be registered, though. I think that's probably still registered.
That's our
by the
seal.
City of Pompano Beach, so
Okay, all right. But we're talking about Florida's Warmest Welcome.
that's what's I think most widely recognized in today as the city's logo, yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
But technically, I believe the ordinance would cover either.
Yes.
Further commission
Does
discussion?
that mean they can use the seal and not the?
No, technically, this would cover both of
okay.
them, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
No.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, item number 18 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance amending Chapter 31, City Officials of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pompano Beach by amending Section 31.01, Travel and Substances Allowances, to modify the procedures for payment of authorized travel expenses, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Ms. Furtado.
Good afternoon, Commissioner, Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners. This is the first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 31, Section 31.01, Travel and Subsistence Allowances. This ordinance will amend current terminologies as well as a recommendation on our current reimbursement policy for travel expenses. We are recommending that we shift from our current policy of using a fixed dollar amount to a per diem rate structure set by the federal guidelines. One of the main changes is transferring to a per diem, which simplifies the reimbursement processes, where the travelers don't need to keep track of every expenses. Instead, they will receive a fixed daily allowance. Both employees and employer can predict travel costs more accurately, since per diem rates are predetermined based on the federal guidelines. Employers save time and resources, and expense report processing and auditing as per diem eliminates the need for detailed expense report. Per diem rates often adhere to government regulation, ensuring compliance with tax and accounting rules. It also allows fairness, where employees receive a consistent daily allowance.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, concerns, questions. I've got Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a quick question about the fiscal impact. It says that there is no impact. Is that because it's hard to quantify what it would be? Do you think it's negligible, or do we do so little travel in the city that it's
a
relatively
material
negligible?
cost. Currently, our maximum daily value is $50, and when you look at the rates to travel to Orlando, it's like $9 difference, and it could be less. So the dollar value is immaterial. That's why there's not much of a fiscal impact.
Right. Okay, so switching to per diem isn't going to materially impact what we have to
What
pay
we're
here.
actually doing right now.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion, questions? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eden,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes, item 19 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a software license and service agreement between United Public Safety, Inc. and the City of Pompano Beach for license plate reading technology for parking enforcement, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Lance.
Afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Jeff Lance, Parking Manager. Item before you this afternoon is an agreement with T2 Up Safety Parking Enforcement Technology. In 2015, the city began using license plate recognition technology for their parking enforcement program. The company that provided that technology at the time was New Park. In 2022, New Park Parking was purchased and sold to T2, who enhanced that software technology to make it more adept reporting and added some additional convenient services to the public. That software program is now titled Up Safety, and that's the item before you today. Nothing has changed other than the name of the company and some software upgrades to the system. The system has no ability other than to read a license plate number to identify whether a license plate has a paid parking session or it doesn't. That is the extent of its technology. That concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just give name and address for the record.
Vincente through 1890 Northwest 6th Avenue. So, Mayor, why can't we bike our cars in when we go out to get dinner and stuff like that? Why we all got to park one way and we can't put the car in? I want to go smoke me a cigar.
That's so that our license plate readers can actually read the license plates as they're going down. It saves on personnel costs for the city, to be honest with you.
Is that what it is? Because I see them out there with a little thing in their hand. They can just get up and, I want to bike my car in with my date. Well, why can't get out their car?
Actually, there were two reasons for that. One was the efficiency of just the license plate reader, but also for safety of the facilities. When you back in, some vehicles have a longer trunk space, so to speak, than front space. So yeah, they could actually do damage to our facilities. Would that be accurate, Mr. Lance?
Correct. Some of the larger trucks also have the extended trailer hitch on the back that can and damage.
Thank you.
So that's the reason we came back to Cayenne.
That's correct. No backing. No, I mean, you can back your car in your driveway if you like, but not in our public parking.
And so they give you tickets because you came back to Cayenne.
Well, it's
What if the valet man back to Cayenne?
well, valet is a different story. Valet is handled separately. So if the valet backs your car in, the valet would be responsible for that.
So if the valet man over at the foundry back to Cayenne and the people they come by, is that y'all covering that?
Well, the valet doesn't park in the regular parking spaces. The valet has their reserved
You got a
spaces in
point.
the
Okay, I'll
garage.
let that slide. Okay.
Very good. Thank you for that, sir. Any further input from the public? We're here to answer questions. Sometimes. Yeah, okay, public input closed. No, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. I've got Commissioner Moss first and then Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah, are these the same license plate readers that is employed by the police department? And is it connected to the police department's central?
I don't know. We may use the same cameras, but definitely not the same software.
Okay, so this does not alert the police if a car is stolen, for example?
In any way, we'd have no idea.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Fournier?
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Lance. I have two questions. I think you recently attended a conference, or maybe it was months ago now. Are you completely convinced that UpSafety is the right new system based on everything that you've seen that's out there, since there is a significant investment in the first year to make the switch?
100%, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at a prior meeting, I think collections or a rate of collections on parking tickets came up, and I think it's pretty poor. Will this, there's a line in here that says that the monthly collection letters will be automated, and it's currently a manual process. Will this allow us to improve what we collect on these tickets?
I certainly hope so. As you touched on, it's currently, it's a very manual and laborious process. With this new software, it manually or automatically will batch and download those collection letters and get them out at any time very quickly.
Okay, so you're planning on collecting more this year on these parking tickets based on this?
We would hope so.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Seeger-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harton?
Yes, item 20 is a first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 32 Departments of the Pompano Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Section 32.39 Competitive Bidding to provide for revision to the city's procurement procedures, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved?
Second?
Moved and second for discussion. Dr. Good.
Thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, CIP Manager Tammy Good. This item is relative to the spending threshold criteria that requires competitive bids. And what we would like to do as part of this ordinance change is increase the spending thresholds for the purchase of supplies, materials, capital items, and construction contracts so that we can directly procure services without competitive bidding. Some of the details, such as relative to the purchase of supplies and materials, currently those thresholds are at 20 grand, and we would like to increase them to 75 grand with just needing the General Services Director approval. And then for materials and supplies up to 200 grand, it would be the General Services Director with concurrence of the City Manager. And for construction contracts, there's a tiered process, so basically up to $300,000 with quotes that would be approved by General Services Director and the City Manager. That concludes my presentation.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Before we take the public input, though, just to clarify, you said without competitive bidding. We're still going to be getting quotes and things. So it's not like, okay, this is all going to go to your friend Joe.
I mean, it could. No, I'm just, no. We have it's actually written in the ordinance change that it's a tiered process. So for construction contracts between 0 and 75,000, we'll need one quote. For 75 to 150,000, we'll have 2 quotes. And from 150,000 up to 300, it will be 3 quotes.
Very good.
We'll
Just
still
want to get
competitively solicit for costs, but it will allow city staff to directly seek out like smaller contractors, subcontractors for these services, rather than using the competitive bid process to procure these larger projects.
I just want to make it clear to the public, though, that we are watching the dollars. It's not like we're just throwing this out. It's still a competitive process, so to speak. Yes, thank you. I appreciate you putting that on record. Thank you.
Vicente Throa, I'm 1890. Mayor, I appreciate, that's the question. On top of, when you say tier, does she mean like local Pompano Beach companies?
Good point, Miss Dr. Good. So yeah, that we do have Pompano Beach in competitive bidding.
Well, we always have to look local first. So even if we're getting informal quotes, we have a look local first form policy. And so our first choice would to go out to local firms here in Pompano Beach. And that actually would give us more control to do that because we would be procuring contracts directly with these firms rather than allowing the prime contractor to seek out those services from the subs.
Very good, thank you.
Actually, that's a good thing, man. So you just heard on the record, she says, so now that means that they got a little more authority, that they will hire local Pompano Beach and hopefully minority companies here in Pompano Beach, right? Right, Mayor?
Right.
Okay, appreciate, yeah. See, the other, even Commissioner Moss saying the same thing. So, okay, so now, Mayor, I think that's it. Okay, thank you, that's all. Okay.
Very good. Okay, there's one. Is further input from the public? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Hey again, Zachary Cook, 603 Northeast 9th Avenue. This, for local companies, and I don't want to go too off topic, but I spoke earlier on the pier issue. So we have Public Works that takes care of a lot of things like that. Would this be including things that Public Works takes care of, like the pier awnings and stuff like that, to increase budget to possibly actually allow proper building?
Well,
Absolutely, yeah. So taking that for example, if it were currently over our spending threshold to make those repairs today, we would have to put together a complete design package to put out to bid. It takes a lot longer. So providing this ordinance is approved, we could potentially seek out directly to a contractor that could perform those works. That work, providing it's still under our threshold here, which is, per that tiered to $300,000. So it could definitely expedite the completion of projects, repairs, and certainly streamline city processes as it relates to procurement.
Absolutely, yeah, especially during storm season when we have lots of damage throughout the city and we need to get back up and running for tourist season. So I fully support that.
Very good, thank you. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Thank you. Commission discussion, concerns, questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Commissioner Perkins.
My question is, who made this determination that this was necessary or this was needed?
So I think it was a collective agreement among several staff members at the city, just based on the constraints that we're all under to try to get procurement, just the process, through the procurement process here at the city. But basically, we researched the Florida statute and what we chose in terms of the tiered thresholds are in compliance with the current Florida statute, Section 255. So we definitely know that there's a need. We're constrained based on the value of today's dollar and the current market conditions. $75,000, which is what our current threshold is today, just doesn't really go that far. So we're competitively bidding everything. That burdens the procurement department. Sometimes we don't even get bids, and if we do get bids, the price is exorbitantly high, or they're unqualified contractors. So this will allow us to, directly procure services with known local contractors, minority. We'll be able to develop relationships with several other subcontractors, smaller contractors. So basically, we all collectively agreed, yes, we need this, and we're going to comply with the Florida state statute, which was actually changed. The last change was 2009. So that 300,000 threshold has been since 2009 for the Florida state statute.
Okay, yeah, I'm concerned that we'll do the right thing as a city with the small businesses. I don't want the small businesses to walk away because of a potential bid opportunity. That is my concern. I have about 7 or 8 questions here I want to ask you, but I just think this is something that should have been discussed with the commissioners before the meeting. so that we could better understand it and give our views on it. So with that, I'm not going to ask the questions. No one on staff met with me about this particular item. I didn't meet with anyone. I was not asked to meet with anyone. But I think it's something that should have been adequately discussed, with the commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison, I know I was briefed on this.
Yes, sir. Last month, Commissioner Perkins was not available when we asked for that meeting.
Very good.
That is not true. What do you mean I was not available? What date are you talking about? Anytime staff
I don't know
asked
what
to-
the exact date was, Commissioner.
Well,
according to
if
my
I was
staff,
not
you were
available,
not
which is
available.
not true, Mr. City Manager, if I was not available, you should have contacted me and found out when I am available. So I see that there's something wrong
I
with
really
this.
get tired of this every single commission meeting.
You're getting
Want to come
tired?
down on me for not contacting you? We contact you 3 or 4 different times. Every time we have a meeting about any of this, and you do not respond to our inquiries.
That is because you're not contacting me, so you don't have any idea what you're talking about. And tell me what you're tired about at this point.
Ms. Perkins, I don't call each of you for these meetings. My staff does, either Audrey or Shelley.
Well, your staff is not telling the truth. And I think there's something wrong with
So
this
my
picture.
staff is lying
Listen,
to me. Is
listen
that
to
what
me.
you're saying?
Listen to me well. Listen to me well. There's something wrong with this picture when every person on this staff has met regarding this particular item except Commissioner Beverly Perkins. And your reasoning is, I was not available, and that is not true.
Okay, well, I've gone on record with what my staff has told me, so we'll leave it at that.
Very good.
So I don't know how many times this has happened in the city, but I hope this is the last time that it happens. If all of the staff is meeting with some of these, all the elected officials, I should be given that call. If my schedule does not agree with the time, then we can make time for it to agree, okay? That's the way it's always been since I've been on this dais since 2016. If one day doesn't work, another day work. If that doesn't work, another day will work. Simple, very easy.
Very good. Further commissioners? Commissioner Moss.
Yeah, a couple questions. Florida statute 255.20. Just what does that say?
You want me to read the whole statute?
Oh, here we go.
Have it.
Well, let me just put it this way. Does that say municipalities within the state of Florida must do this? Or is that a statute that affects the spending on the state level as opposed to the municipal level?
It says county and municipal.
What?
County and municipal. County level and municipality.
Is it a mandate or a suggestion?
It is a mandate so long as we're not less strict than the statute, which we won't be.
How many other cities in Broward County have adopted those limits, $300,000 limits?
I'm glad you asked that question. I did a lot of research, so that was not all for naught then. A lot. A lot of the Code of Ordinances currently reference that exact statute. City of Pembroke Pines, Lee County, City of Miami, Manatee County, City of Palm Bay, all have adopted the $300,000 threshold. But a lot of the other cities, very local to us, basically have adopted lower thresholds, but all have the provision that it could be waived, so long as it doesn't, so long as it complies with the 255.20 state statute. So pretty much all municipalities make reference to that statute.
For those who are listening, watching on television, so what this does, it enables staff to enter into a contract with the provider up to an amount of $300,000 without the knowledge or review of the commission. Is that it?
Well, not necessarily, because most all of the projects that we would be going into contract with would be either smaller contractors or subcontractors directly for projects that you have already previously approved, either via the capital improvement plan or the budget. the overall budget. So it's not like they're going to be new projects that you would be unaware of.
But theoretically, it's possible.
Well, we would have to have budgeting for it, and you guys approved the budget, so there would be an amendment to the budget regardless that you guys
Well,
would.
we approve the budget and say, yes, we're going to, build a bridge, but we don't approve the contracts or the contractors. I mean, I have absolutely no qualms about our city staff doing the right thing, absolutely none. But 10 years from now, I'll be gone, you might be gone, and many other people on our staff might be gone, and we don't know who will be taking their places. And this seems to me as though the commission is giving up its authority to people who were not elected to oversee these things. So that's a concern of mine. Municipalities in this county and in this state get in trouble all the time for shenanigans when it comes to contracts, and I'm concerned that this opens a door for some future staff member or to do something that isn't kosher. So I'm concerned about allowing contracts in the amount of $300,000 to be let without the commission's approval. Thanks.
Mayor?
I've just one moment. I've got Tracy, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Moss, I just wanted to assure you that the language that is contained within our new ordinance that is before you now mirrors the language in Florida Statute 255.20. So we are in compliance with that, with the threshold amounts.
But I don't care. I mean, I don't think the people in Tallahassee and their statutes necessarily should be making these kinds of decisions for the citizens of Pompano Beach. So it's very nice that it's in compliance with the statute, but the statute could be wrong. I mean, God knows a lot of crap comes out of Tallahassee, and I don't know if this is it or not.
Got Commissioner Segerson Eden.
Thank you. So can you briefly explain, Dr. Good, what the bid package entails, the competitive bid? And I think I see a few project bids over here. Can you just explain a little bit about what the process is that you go through in order to get something done? Like for instance, and just as an example, we have a roof leak at the pavilion up at North Pompano Park, and what the process is for getting that fixed. And so can you just expound upon that, please?
That's a great example, and I'll use that.
Speak into the mic, a little louder.
Sure. So we have the basketball court, outdoor court, that's got a rigid metal canopy shading the basketball court up at North Pompano Park. It's leaking. We have some of the purlins that are rusted that need to be removed and replaced. We got a couple different quotes. One of them was like $150,000, the other was like $170,000, and obviously they're over our spending threshold. So in order for us to basically let that out for competitive bidding, I have to spend probably $75,000 to a consultant to put together a design package. Because it has to be very comprehensive, so all bidders who are not speaking to me directly, they're only looking at the bid package in front of them, so that they can put together a bid, a detailed estimate, and everybody can submit their sealed bid. So it's costly, it's time consuming, and frankly, if I did all of that, those same bidders that I had come out to the site that gave me quotes probably wouldn't even bid on it, because that's just not what they do. You're going to get much larger companies that are going to come in, and the price, instead of it being $150,000, $175,000, will probably be more like $400,000. And this is just not my opinion. This is what is happening to a lot of our projects right now. We're putting together this design package, spending a lot of money to do so, putting it out to bid, and we get 0 bidders because they're just too small of a project. Otherwise, the bidder's got to put together this crazy price. Some of them are not embarrassed to do that, and they will. But we don't accept it. So at that point, we've decided to kind of contract with basically act as the GC in-house and hire the subs directly, which does get us sometimes under our $75,000 threshold. But a lot of times it doesn't, and so we're kind of caught in the middle. we pay a very high inflated price, and a project, instead of it taking 3 to 5 months, it take a year to a year and a half? Because that's what we're dealing with.
So instead of being able to say, okay, we have a leaky roof, I need to find out, I need roof contractors who work on metal roofing structures, and you can't just currently just call up a couple of roofing contractors who do roof repairs and get 2 or 3 quotes, take the lowest quote or whatever, generally the lowest quote, and get it fixed. You instead have to hire a consultant or an engineer or in staff or in-house, have to put together a bid package with the scope of work. You have to do engineering drawings and the this and that and the other, then legal gets involved and they have to put it down in the contract. Instead of just calling up a roofer and saying, hey, I have a roof repair, can you come over, check it out, and give me a quote, and do that to 2 or 3 people, which could get it done instead of having to put together something like this. I mean, the cost of construction, the cost of materials, and if you want to call up your local roofer here in the city of Pompano Beach, you can. But to have staff put together this for maybe $100,000, $150,000 project, to put in all the hours, and the cost, the cost is outrageous, $75,000, $80,000 to put one of these together. Crazy.
Another example, let's say we have a larger project, but there's certain materials that have a very long lead time to obtain. So we could put together the design package, which we would for those larger projects, put it out for competitive bidding, but it might be advantageous for the city to go ahead and buy some of these long lead items now, like specialized mechanical equipment or electrical panels, or I just found out that the bleacher shades for North Pompano Park has a lead time of 8 to 10 months. So we could directly procure that material now, still put it under the purview of the contractor, whoever it's awarded to, but we get that procurement process going now so it doesn't delay the contractor in the completion of the project for very long lead items. So allowing the threshold to increase for the purchase of materials and supplies and capital items will also help from that perspective as well.
So everything gets done quicker.
And it really doesn't give up any of your, I mean, it increases the spending threshold, but if you look at the value of the dollar when these thresholds were established in 2017, giving up a little bit, but not really. I mean, 75,000 back then is about equivalent to 150,000 today, so it's not.
Thanks.
Very good. I believe I've got Commissioner Fournier next.
Yes, thank you. I share Commissioner Moss's concern about this and what it means in the future, and the unintended consequences of what might happen as a result of this. So to be clear, we are currently in compliance with state statute, right? This just takes us all the way as closer to what we're allowed to do, but we are currently in compliance. We don't need to do this. Yeah. And I am concerned that because this is complicated and this is, I think, extremely important, I'm concerned that one of the commissioners up here hasn't had the chance to ask all of her questions. And I don't know why that happened, but it does concern me that she didn't have that opportunity. So that is something I think that we need to take time and let that happen. So let's say in 10 years when none of us are here and your successor has a brother with a roofing company, can he just call that company and say, hey, I need a bid? You know, it's $100,000, I need a couple bids. And
I would think in 10 years, the next Tammy's probably going to be standing before you asking to raise if you guys approve the 300 to 500.
I understand. I'm torn on this one because it is complicated and is a waste of money and time to do that. But I think this is one of those like safety nets. This is one of those processes that's in place to ensure that we have transparency and competition. And those are things that are important to me, that we maintain and that we, if anything, augment, not take away from. So I'm not sure that this increases transparency. Do you think it does?
I think With the General Services Director, concurrence with the city manager, obviously, we have to have a budget, which you would have already approved, so it's not like there's money. So it's not like it's going to be a brand-new project that none of you are aware of. It would be projects that you previously approved. And we're just finding a different procurement method to streamline getting that project completed at an economical, cost at the city, in an expedited, manner as well.
Okay.
So I absolutely don't think, and no, I don't, honestly.
I have one more question. I know we've spoke about this, but this only applies to tangible supplies and products, right? We're not talking about professional services or consulting contracts here. This is tangible.
That is correct.
Construction items. Okay.
Absolutely, just construction, yep, capital.
I've got Vice Mayor McGee, and then I've got Commissioner Moskian. Vice Mayor?
And from what your presentation was too, and from some of the questions you've answered, even though the agenda item says fiscal impact NA, there's a cost savings between time and being able to take advantage of things and not having to pay consultants. So we might not have a number for that, but that is a reality, correct?
I actually do have a number for that.
Oh.
It's in the millions.
I'm
sorry.
It's almost just under 3 million with all of the costs that we save on just the smaller projects. This is what we've saved currently on some of the stuff that we've designed in-house, and we're able to procure those services directly. There's a few projects that are ongoing right now that we're acting as the general contractor because a lot of the subcontracting scopes of work are under our spending threshold. But we would like to kind of expand that a little bit and be able to capitalize more and save more money.
And that's per annum, the 2 to 3 million, or?
I'm sorry?
Your savings is per year?
That's what we've done probably in the last year and a half. It's about 2.8 million.
That's excellent. And then the quotes that we would get would be public record?
Absolutely, and they would be informal quotes. It'd be subject to public record, absolutely. Everything would be in writing. It wouldn't be a handshake. Everything would be. We have administration policies that we have to follow now. Also, making sure that we look local first as well.
And I do agree that 10 years from now, I think whatever commission is here will probably be asking for more, with the value of the dollar being where it needs to be to handle construction costs. I know just supply, concrete alone has gone through the roof in the past few years. So excellent. I think it's a great fiscal policy to streamline, and I do think it'll help smaller businesses have a chance to, the ones that wouldn't go through a whole RFP process or be able to do that or know the ins and outs of that. So yeah, no, I think it's excellent. So thank you.
Very good. Got Commissioner Moss?
You used your example of the leaking roof at the North Pompano Park. Let's just say 10 years from now, we're not sitting here, the commissioners are not sitting here listening to Dr. Good, maybe they're listening to Dr. Bad. And what's to say that Dr. Bad doesn't let a contract in the amount of $300,000 to their next door neighbor or to their first cousin's first cousin? So that's the thing that concerns me. Now, I can appreciate the fact that the bureaucracy is burdensome, and I think that we as a commission should do something to try and help alleviate that. But I really think that at this point, I'm thinking about what our citizens would say about our giving up the responsibility that we as elected officials have to watch the money that is being spent. So maybe I would suggest that you go back and revisit this, and perhaps if you say that yesterday's $75,000 is today $150,000, that might be a number that's a little bit more palatable. But $300,000, there are just too many examples where shenanigans go on in municipalities and in counties, not necessarily here, and certainly not with any one of our staff members now, but we can't see into the future. We don't know who's going to be there, and there are hundreds of examples of municipalities where contracts are let to people that probably shouldn't have them, or without proper vetting, and certainly without the oversight of the commission. So for me, $300,000 is too much, and I won't support it.
Very good. Commissioner Fournier?
I'd like to make a motion to table this so we can have more discussion. It sounds like Commissioner Moss has some ideas or some feedback on what would allow him to get on board with the project, with this, and give Commissioner Perkins the opportunity to have her 8 questions answered.
I'd like to second.
Been a motion to table until,
The first meeting in January or the second meeting in January? How much time do you need, Commissioner Perkins?
First meeting is fine.
First meeting in January.
okay, that would be January.
Very-
Who's got,
I believe it's the 9th. Oh,
Yes, this is January 9th.
Second
January
Tuesday.
9th. So motion is tabled, the item till January 9th. Moved by Commissioner Fournier and seconded by Commissioner Perkins. Let me just get staff's input. Dr. Good, is there any urgent, I mean, I understand the urgency is dollars being saved, but is there any urgency on this item?
I mean, just more dollars being saved, but I totally understand their position, but I just would like to add one last thing. That it isn't just me going out and handshaking with somebody or getting informal quotes. We do have to have, we have checks and balances in place just like we do all city policies. And the General Services Director would be seeing this and approving it with concurrence of the city manager, so it isn't just one person. But I do understand your position. I'd be more than happy to have further discussions with each of you.
Very good. Thank you for that. And I've got Commissioner Seeger-Eaton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Since this is, the first time we get together and talk about it as a group, I always prefer that that everyone on the dais, including the mayor, has a chance to discuss the original motion before conversation is shut down. So, because I'm always interested in what you have to say, Mayor. So, and I mean that sincerely. It seems to abbreviate the discussion, and it's, I think, disrespectful to those who may not have a chance to speak or maybe wanted to have a follow-up. So just putting that out there, I support this. I think in this time of rising construction costs, difficulty in finding contractors and others, I think it's a good thing to move some of these things forward more efficiently and more cost-effectively with the city. And I just would make the observation that after these bids go out and they're returned, we really still, even at that point, don't have any idea whether it's somebody's brother or not. It's just somebody that responded to the bid. So, I don't see there's more checks and balances, but obviously, in the public interest, we all want to make sure. And I think it's important to reiterate that there are checks and balances that currently exist. There are public records requests, so, and we do things by the book in the city, but I get it for future, but, it's, at any rate, that's just my opinion on it, so, anyway, I'd like to hear more from the city manager, or staff, or anybody else before we shut down conversation.
Well, sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not shutting down conversation. That's fine. Mr. Harrison, you want to well, first off, I've got a quick, Mr. Harrison, do we have postponing until January 9th? I know we've got holidays approaching, and I understand you guys are ready to go right now with this, but if there's a need for staff to get with commissioners, any commissioners, is there, I mean,
I'd be glad to do that, Mayor. We did get with the commission, with the exception of Commissioner Perkins last month, and went over this in great detail.
Sure.
And thought that we had made our point across. This does not change any transparency. This does not change the procurement process. It's just a larger number.
Mm-hmm.
The same requirements, the same safeguards are still there that we would follow and adhere to. It's not wide opening this from 100,000 to 200,000. It's just simply providing something that makes more sense. This has not been updated since 2017. So we're simply trying to update from 7 years hence and save some money. Commissioner Eaton hit this on the head when she was describing what Tammy goes through on all of these different projects today. Today, these projects are costing somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 to $300,000, which before they were $75,000, but they're not today. And until we get to a point here where we could agree to get on down to business and let us do our jobs, these projects are going to be stalemated. And we're just trying to get off high center here.
Gotcha. So by January 9th, that's enough time to get with the commission, any commissioners that need additional information. That's what I was trying to ascertain. But just my comments are that I support it. I had my discussions. I understand it completely. And while there may be some examples where perhaps people haven't acted the way they should, I think there are thousands of cities across this country where people act in upstanding fashions as they should, and I have the greatest confidence in our current staff, and I'm you know, and on top of which, it's not like this would be Dr. Good issuing something to somebody. It's okay. Well, it's you would assuming anything could happen, of course, but you would have to have a great deal of collusion to break the system, so to speak, and do terrible things. But anyway, if we want to postpone it, I'm happy to postpone it. But like I said, I support it. I think it's the right move. It's especially, I mean, a savings of $3 million. I mean, we just went through budget time, and it's costing us $3 million over the past year and a half. Or it would have cost $3 million. I mean, that's big dollars. So yeah, if we can save those dollars going forward by implementing this process, make it easier for our local companies to actually participate. Because in the example that Commissioner Segerson-Eaton was using, okay, it goes out, you have to get the design specifications. That's 75, 150 grand to get an engineering firm involved. Then it's got to go out for bid, which means you're not going to get Joe's Roofing Company. He's not going to bid because that's not what he does, but you'll get, some large general contracting firm who will say, oh, sure, we got a department that's all they do is they do bids. So they'll bid on it, and they'll put their cost, their overhead, their profit, and the cost of Joe's Roofing in there. So then the job that actually cost $150,000, the big firm is going to bid it at $550,000. And nobody else will bid it. I mean, Joe's Roofing isn't going to bid it because that's not what Joe's Roofing does. So consequently, Joe's Roofing may get the job, or it may go to the big contractor's favorite contractor, which may be somebody out of West Palm or someplace else. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to consider this and embrace this. I understand if someone is just philosophically opposed to it, can't argue that. But yeah, I support it, but I'm happy to postpone it if that's the will of the commission. Commissioner Moss.
Yeah.
Well, wait, Commissioner, let me get Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison.
I was just going to suggest if the commission would allow us, if you could go ahead and pass it on first reading. In the meantime, we get with each one of you, and if there's anything that you want to amend from what's in here, then we can bring it back on second reading in January.
That's an option. That's up to the commission. Okay, but
excuse me, Mayor.
I've got Commissioner. I've got Commissioner Moss first.
Go ahead, let him go.
Because it's got nothing to do with Tammy Good at all. I mean, this is something that I would suggest that during the period of time, if we're postponing this, during the period of time we postpone it, we all speak to our constituents and tell them, because I think in the eyes of the average citizen, they're going to think this stinks. So if you sit down and talk with your next door neighbor, and I will certainly bring this up at my Saturday morning meetings, and find out how they view this. I think $300,000 is the limit according to the state statute, right? Well, why not 500? Not 3 million?
You can't go over this.
Because the state won't allow you to. The other thing that concerns me is that you named only one city in Broward County that's done this. Well, the cities you named were not in Broward County.
Brook Pines?
One?
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't do a lot of research either.
All right, well,
tell you
I
that
mean,
a lot of them
anyway, no,
reference-
I wouldn't agree to passing this and changing it on the second reading. I think this is something that we really need to talk to our constituents about because it's the perception. I mean, you know, politicians are not well loved by people, and as far as I'm concerned, I want to make sure that my constituents are happy with it. I'll be surprised if they say, yeah, sure, 300,000. There's got to be a compromise. And also in the interim, I would suggest that maybe the city staff think about lowering that amount from 300 to another one, to 150 or smaller amount. I mean, I understand what you go through. I understand the bureaucracy associated with it, but I think going from 75 to 300 is just too big a leap. I think you're going to find a lot of constituents don't like the idea. And again, it's not about what happens with this staff here. It's what happens with this staff 2, 5, 10 years from now. So I would encourage everybody to speak to their constituents and get a feel as to how they view this.
Very good. Commissioner Perkins.
The reason, well, let's just go ahead and vote, and then I'll make the statement, what I have to say. Let's vote first, and then I'll make my statement.
So you're done with this item?
Yes?
Okay, 'cause, I mean, once we vote, we'll move on to the next item.
Yeah, we can move on, but I still have something to say.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to make a statement, I mean, commission reports it, but yeah, okay. I've got Vice Mayor.
You know, I fully understand worried about the future, but I do think that, you know, no one knows where 10 years from now we're going to be. I think, you know, costs will probably go up, and hopefully the residents of Pompano will continue to elect great people to sit in these chairs to keep eyes on what the going-ons are in the city and continue to hire managers that then hire staff that are Dr. Goods, not Dr. Bads, to continue on the analogy. But at the same time, I can't imagine talking to constituents and saying that we would rather continue to waste $3 million every year and a half when we could save that from them. We would be spending the $300,000 either way. Like if a project costs $300,000 in this route, and you're saying if we go through the RFP and through a larger contractor, it'd probably cost $550,000. And when you add them all together, that's an additional 3 million-ish, give or take, every year and a half. Right now, 10 years from now, it'd probably be closer to 5. Just if we're going inflation-wise. I think the savings and the time savings too, like we were talking about with the Pierre situation, I'd love to see those sales fixed or changed out as quickly and cost-effectively as possible. So I think, I think that moving forward with the first reading and then being able to chat any concerns, any changes for the second reading, makes a lot of sense again to move quickly. And if we still hate everything on the second reading, it can be voted down then. But I think with the holidays and everything else, and just again, time is money, moving forward would be my vote on this.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Okay, I also, I really do get where you're coming from, Commissioner Moss. But I think that it's only fair that you add to the conversation when you, essentially, even if you have to go out for $75,000 of repair work, you have to spend $50,000 to $75,000 to put a bid package together. And that's where I think you have to include that part of the argument, because that's the fact that's involved in all this. And this represents almost $3 million worth of work, time, consultants, and expertise. So to be fair, that needs to be included in the discussion, because I think this is where the crux of this is emanating from. I also want to say, too, that we are the ones that are representing and the North Pompano Park, and I'm not blaming anyone. This is why it's taken. People don't understand why the roof can't be fixed. How hard is it to fix? You call up a roofing company, and you get up there with tar, whatever you have to do, just a temporary fix even. But no, and people don't understand why it can't get fixed, because it just does not make sense. It doesn't make common sense. And you have to explain to them, well, we have to put a bid package together. It costs $75,000 to do that. And it's adding $75,000 to the cost of the work. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I really support this item. I think in the long run, for us, it's going to be a cost saving. We're always talking about keeping our costs, cutting our budget, and this is an excellent way to do it. With it, I don't find that there's an issue with transparency or anything like that. So I just want to say the cost of doing business is exorbitant. To do a $75,000 or $100,000 fix or repair or plumbing job or whatever it might be. So it increases the cost. Thank you.
Very good. Further, Commissioner Moss.
These numbers, $75,000 to put together a bid package. During the period of time, if we table this, I would like very much for you to prove to me why it costs $75,000.
More than 75,000.
Well, you come to me and I'll go to my constituents with those numbers. I mean, so you say, but I don't know it. And if you prove it to me, that's one thing. If you just say it to me, that's another. And yes, it may be a more efficient way to get business done, but it's also an efficient way to steal money. And I'm not suggesting anybody now will, but it enables that to happen. Also, Commissioner Eaton, when you say to your constituents, $300,000, wow, that's a lot of money for most people, maybe not for a city as big as ours, but when you say increasing something to $300,000 without our review, $300,000 is a lot of money, and a lot of people would be concerned about that. So I'm happy to consider raising the threshold, but not to $300,000, not from 75 to 300,000, maybe from 75 to 150. That's a little bit more palatable, but in terms of a percentage, it's an enormous increase, and just because Tallahassee says that we can, doesn't mean that we should. And when you show me that other cities within our county have done that, that's one thing. But right now, all I have is your word and the city manager's word. And I find it a little bit hard to believe that, in order to patch the roof at North Pompano Park, they have to spend $75,000 on a bid package. I mean, so prove that to me.
It's more than patch. She's just summarizing for conversation.
You'll have the opportunity to prove it to me.
Yeah, but just keep in mind, though, that we do put packages together, and we do competitively solicit, and we get one bid. So if I am a City of Pompano resident, I would like to know that if this were passed, that we are actually going out and getting 3 quotes, because it's mandated if we're going up to 300,000. Between 0 and 75, it's 1 quote. Between 75 and 150, it's 2 quotes. If we competitively bid, we're getting 1. Sometimes we don't get any quotes. So this would actually be a mechanism to basically ensure we are getting at least 3 quotes. I'll give you another example, and this is the Ely Museum parking lot. We've designed it minimally with a consultant, the landscaping, some of the other features we designed in-house. I'm ready to go on that, but I know that if I bid that out in one contractor, it's going to be over our spending threshold. So I've already gotten prices from the site contractor, a landscape contractor, and a lighting contractor, all of which are over my $75,000 threshold. I could very quickly get that job done, but if I've got to competitively bid it, $150,000 is not going to get me where I need to be. Today, $150,000, it doesn't get much. So, I mean, I understand your position, but considering the market and the value of today and who is bidding when we do advertise these projects and the savings, staff felt, it wasn't just my idea, this has gone up and down, city attorney's office and back a few different iterations until we come to this, and we felt like this is going to get the best value for the city and get these projects completed in a timely manner.
I'm sure you do, and of course, you do what everybody does, and that's to make your job, easier and faster. That's just sort of, the way the world works. But there are people out there called constituents, and we have to answer to them. And explaining to them that we're, increasing things from 75 to 300 is, a big leap of faith. And really, it is faith in you and the procurement process. So, you see the world through your eyes. Makes sense. But I see the world through mine and my constituents, and I think it would be a very hard sell to the man in the street tell them it's okay to increase a threshold from 75 to 300, I think.
This is actually going to make my job harder because I'm going to be, instead of managing one project, which is I can manage, I'm going to be managing 3 or 4 or 5 projects for one project because I've got 4 or 5 subs that I'm going to be contracting with directly. What it will do is keep the constituents off of you, right? That's really who's going to benefit is the residents of Pompano because we're going to get better, we're going to get projects done quicker for less money. Basically, that's who's going to, this is not going to be easier for me. It's going to be a lot more work for me, but it's the right thing to do. That's why I'm bringing it before you.
Well, I mean, you do have a point. When things get done faster, constituents are happier, but again, it boils down to 175 to 300. It's a very big leap.
Mayor?
Very, very good. So Ms. Good, you can get, Dr. Good, you can get with Commissioner Moss, and you can show him the actual facts and figures and show him how it costs $75, $100, $125,000 to put together a bid package as opposed to getting quotes. I believe I've got Vice Mayor and then or Commissioner
right.
Segerson-Eaton.
She was first.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to respond. Commissioner Moss, I personally would not characterize myself as an elected representative not caring how money is spent or not, just thinking $300,000 is a little bit. So I think, and I sort of take a little umbrage with that. Of course I care. There are laws.
I didn't suggest for a moment that you
Yes, you did. You did.
No.
Commissioner Moss, Commissioner Segerson-Eaton has the floor.
All right, well, I appreciate that because it certainly sounded like you did. Of course I care. And if there weren't laws and regulations and transparency and public records in place that keep the process pure, yeah, are bad people, bad politicians, bad? Of course there are from time to time. So there's always a few bad apples. But I do care about how, I just want to see projects get done faster. It's not just, $300,000. No, of course it's a lot of money. Of course it is. But also the fact that taxpayers want to see things get done and they want the costs going down. So I just wanted to respond because I just felt like maybe you mischaracterized my position and you said you didn't, but I just wanted to get that on the record that I do care, and $300,000 is a lot of money.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Very good.
May I respond? I'm
Vice-
responding to an accusation.
I've got Vice Mayor McGee, and then it'll be Commissioner Moss.
Yeah, and I want to echo Commissioner Segerson-Eaton's view on it because we all care a lot. I think that's one thing we all do very vocally here in Pompano, and I care a lot about saving the 75 to 150 to however is on consultations and unnecessary bureaucracy. And I do really like the fact that I feel like there's increased transparency in this with the extra quotes, with all the quotes being public. And I fail to see how just increasing a threshold increases ability to steal. Based on, life, any threshold has the ability for bad actors. If this can save our constituents around $3 million a year, that's the part that I couldn't not vote for. I can't say, let's just keep throwing away and burning up $3 million a year because of maybe some commission in the future that could possibly become elected and hire really bad staff and take everything down with them. So if that's 10 years from now, $3 million a year, that's $30 million that we'd be saving, not worrying about the future 10-year commission thought process and hiring practices. But that's the part that I definitely couldn't ignore. So with all the safeguards that are in place, with the additional quotes, which I love the idea of getting additional quotes on things so we know we're not overpaying. If you're going to use the roof analogy still, if you're going to do your roof, you're not just going to go with the first person who bids you on a roof. You find out who is a good actor, who has good references, who can do the job and get your price. And I think it all makes just a lot of sense fiscally and policy-wise and everything. So that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Moss.
I mean, we're all just rehashing what we've said 10 times already, but Commissioner Eaton, I invite you, when you go home, watch the tape. I said nothing about anyone sitting up here not caring. I said our constituents, I don't know where that came from. I think you heard something you wanted to hear. So please, When you go home, watch it, then prove to me that I said it, because I didn't. So we're just, beating a dead horse right now. So I think what we need to do is vote on the motion, which is to table, and then move forward, because, I can say the same thing 20 times, and so can everybody else sitting up here. But so far, you haven't convinced me. But go ahead. Keep trying.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, okay, there's a motion on the floor to postpone until the January 9th, 2024 commission meeting. Been moved by Commissioner Fournier, seconded by Commissioner Perkins. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, thank you, and I believe staff has direction on what to do in the meantime. Thank you. All right, that takes care of item number 20. Moving on to, and folks, look, we've been here since 1 o'clock. It's almost 4 o'clock. That's 3 hours. Do we need a break, or should we continue?
No, continue.
Continue? Okay, let's, thank you.
Yes.
We've got one vote for a break here. Vice Mayor, let's take a 5-minute break. Okay, I've got people leaving the room. Aging commissioners. Aging Commissioner Perkins. There we go. Woo-hoo. Nice time, by the way. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting back to order. Item number 21 is a resolution.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the General Employees Retirement System of the City of Pompano Beach for a term of 3 years, said term to expire on December 13th, 2026, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded for discussion. Are there any nominations for this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
I'd like to nominate Philip Smith.
Very good. Philip Smith. I'd like to go ahead and nominate Philip Darmanian, the incumbent.
Mark.
Pardon me?
Yes, Mark.
Mark Darmanian, sorry, the incumbent. Very good. So we've got Philip Smith has been nominated and Mark Darmanian has been nominated. So when your name is called, please indicate who your selection is. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Mark Darmanin.
Commissioner Moss,
Mark Darmanian.
Commissioner Perkins,
Phyllis Smith.
Philip Smith?
Philip.
Okay. Commissioner Sigerson,
Mark Domain.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Philip Smith.
Mayor Harden.
Mark Darmanian. Very good. Item 22 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Golf Advisory Board of the City of Pompano Beach to fill the unexpired term of Richard J. Pereiro, said term to expire on May 8th, 2024, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Are there any nominations on this item?
Mayor,
Commissioner Fournier.
I'd like to nominate Frank Sellers.
We have Frank Sellers nominated from District 3.
Mayor,
Vice Mayor,
I'd like to nominate Donald Totter.
Donald Totter, the alternate
Alternate.
number 2 from District 1. Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, nominations now closed. When your name is called, indicate either the incumbent, not the incumbent, I apologize, alternate number 2, who currently serves as alternate, Donald Totter, or Frank Sellers Jr. from District 3. Now let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier.
Frank Sellers.
Commissioner Moss.
Donald Totter.
Commissioner Perkins.
Frank Sellers.
Commissioner Seeger-Eaton.
Donald Totter.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Donald Totter.
Mayor Harden.
Donald Totter, thank you. Item number 23 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Recycling and Solid Waste Committee of the City of Pompano Beach for a term of 2 years, said term to expire on December 13th, 2025, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Are there any nominations for this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
I'd like to nominate Mary C. Antoine, the incumbent.
Mary Antoine, been nominated. Are there any further nominations for this item? Hearing none, nominations closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. That concludes our regular agenda. Do we have any additional audience to be heard, Mr. Curtin?
No, Mayor. No additional audience to be heard.
Very good. Our next scheduled meetings shall be January 9th, 2024 at 1 p.m., a regular City Commission meeting, followed by January 23rd, 2024 at 6 p.m., regular City Commission meeting. That takes us up to reports. Mr. Harrison, any reports?
Yes, sir. While we were on break, I placed 3 items at your spots on the dais. One of them is a very impressive report from Mr. Mike Rada. Mike?
Ooh, hey, Mike.
So Mike and his staff have put together this report for you all, and it gives you a district-by-district breakdown of all of the projects that are currently in permitting. And then it summarizes it at the end. So in summary, you all are pleasantly looking at $1.7 billion in process right now in the city of Pompano Beach.
A little busy, aren't you, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, you want to say a few words about how many permits, like all of a sudden, you guys have been?
We're issuing at least 1,500 a month. And Mr. Harrison's being very generous. This was a team effort, and most of the credit needs to go to Mr. Chris Felchin putting this book together. He does a fine job for us.
Oh, very good. Hang on to him.
Yes.
You bet.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for that. Thanks for your efforts there.
So you all know that along with this, a lot of this work goes hand in hand with the fire marshal's office as well. So I don't think Pete's out there. Is he out there? Pete's a little bashful. So the other 2 reports that I placed are also by district. One's the Capital Improvements Program, and the other is the General Obligation Bond Program. So there's a district-by-district update for you on those projects, plus a summary at the end or in the CIP at the beginning on all of those projects. So please take a look at those and let me know if you have any questions. And as usual, we have Mr. Randy Brown hour here. Randy, come on up here.
As usual.
So we don't have 1, but 3 recent awards. The first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand these to Randy, and let him bring them around so you guys can take them. Look, this is the Water Conservation Award of Excellence, presented to Randy, Comprehensive Water Conservation Program of the Year from the Florida section of the American Water Works Association.
Okay, very good.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Go ahead and be Vanna White on that. And the next one
Awesome. Congrats.
is by the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association, Utility of the Year.
Well deserved.
Wow, Utility of the Year.
Utility of the Year.
All right.
That's by the Florida Water and Pollution Control Association. Randy, you want to let them take a look at that one?
Yeah, you get him. You got to show him.
You're going to need both hands for the next one.
Holy moly, it is Randy Brown hour. Congrats
And-
again. Awesome.
This one is not just Florida. This is the American Water Works Association,
Right.
and it's for the outstanding water distribution system in what they call Division 3, first place, City of Pompano Beach Utilities Department.
Wow.
Awesome, awesome.
So, Randy, do you have a PON to Tammy for a room to
nice.
put all these in? Probably won't come under the threshold.
Yeah.
Right, so wait till we get that changed, okay?
Just want to thank my staff, because they're the ones that have the rubber meet the road and do the outstanding work, and your support as well, appreciated as well.
Very good. Thank you, and
Randy,
congratulations
for all
too.
you do. And last but not least is the City of Pompano Beach has a new Human Resources Director.
Uh-huh.
It's Lisa Sonigo. Would you please stand?
All right.
All right. Lisa
Congratulations.
started on the 29th of November, I believe. Lisa, is there anything you'd like to say?
Lisa Sonego, Human Resources Director. So I'm really looking forward to working with everyone in the years to come, and appreciate meeting you all.
Very good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right. And let's see, I guess we'll see each other on the 19th, but just in case I forget on the 19th, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
And a Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah, all that stuff.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Very good. Thank
We
you.
have a CRA board meeting on the 19th, a week from today.
This is Friday.
Same time, same place.
All right. That takes us up to City Attorney, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no official report, but I want to wish you all a very happy holiday and a happy and healthy new year.
Very good. Thank you for that. Takes us up to City Clerk, Mr. Alfred.
I too have no report, but wish you a happy holidays and happy new year. Looking forward to seeing you all next year.
Very good. Thank you for that. All right. Takes us up to City Commission, Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank the City Manager's Office and Parks and Rec, Public Works, everyone for all of the amazing holiday events that we've had over the last month. And I want to say a special congratulations to a couple of the Yuletide Parade winners. I saw them announced today that the Riptides girls softball team, of which my niece is part of, and many of our neighborhood friends are part of, won the best youth float. So congratulations to those girls. And the overall best float was Sand and Spurs. So it was great to have them out there in the parade participating, and congratulations to them. And yeah, happy holidays to everyone. That's it.
Very good. Thank you for that. Commissioner Moss.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a number of things. First of all, I'd like to thank Parks and Rec for the ribbon-cutting ceremony at the bridges in Palmyra. It went beautifully. They ran out of food. There were so many people. I think we had about, they brought food for 100, and we must have had about 130 or more. Everybody was very impressed, very pleased, and so hats off to Parks and Rec for really doing a great job on that. Also, I want to remind everybody that Friday is the ribbon cutting for Top Golf. That's Friday the 15th at 9 a.m. That's something that's really going to be very important, not just for District 5, but for this whole city. That's going to bring a lot of people here who are going to spend a lot of money. And as things get going over at the Isle Casino, there'll be lots of places for them to spend even more money and pay taxes. So I'm really excited about the ribbon cutting at Topgolf and invite everyone to come to that. Before I forget, I hope Mike Ryder is still here. Yep. Mike has just been really wonderful to some of my constituents. In particular, I have a senior citizen in Palmyra who I think has been pulled around by his contractor and being told one thing when in actual fact it's another thing. And Mike was so kind. He happened to be here to visit me in the City Hall. I took him downstairs, introduced him to all the people involved in resolving his problem, and is working on resolving his problem. He was very, very kind. Also, just the other day, I came to him with 4 more complaints, and in a matter of a few hours, he had them all ironed out. He had it all, figured out. So in spite of the fact that he's been inundated with all of this work, I just want to personally thank you and your staff for everything you're doing to help constituents and to really make constituents feel as though they're being listened to by the city of Pompano Beach. So hats off to you. Thank you very much for what you've done. Also, Wreaths Across America is going to be, are you going to be there, Mayor?
Yes, I will.
That is this Sunday, the 16th.
It's Saturday.
I'm sorry, you're right. Saturday, the 16th, Wreaths Across America at the cemetery on Copans Road. The Sons of the American Revolution and several other groups will be there. And it's a period of time when we place wreaths on the graves of departed veterans. So I'll be there, and I invite you all to attend. It's in Commissioner Eaton's district, very easy to get to. So hope to see you there. I take it the CRA meeting next week is canceled, correct?
It's Mr.
No?
No, it's on
No?
stage.
Okay, it's on, good. Also, for tomorrow night is the Collier City Civic Association's holiday party, and they've asked that the gates across the street at the McNair Center for the overflow parking be opened for them. It's still a problem for people to park when going to the Civic Association's events. So if that could be done, city manager would greatly appreciate it. And for those people interested in coming, tomorrow night at the library in Collier City, starting at 6 p.m. And, excuse me, also probably the most important thing that affects not just District 5, but everyone in the city, and I invite everyone in the city to come, on Tuesday, the 19th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Skolnick Center, we're going to have Senators Pizzo, Senator Polsky, and Representative Patricia Williams there to discuss the condominium insurance issue, but also, very importantly, that the legislature can do maybe something about, but most importantly, the requirements for fully funding condominium reserve accounts. It is creating havoc for people who live in condominiums, especially our senior citizens. I just give one example. An apartment I bought for my mother years ago now has a special assessment of $14,000 plus the quarterly fee just went up $500. So these kinds of special assessments increases are just going nuts, and they're pricing a lot of people out of the condominium market, again, especially our senior citizens. So I think Senators Pizzo and Polsky have some plans, some legislation they'd like to introduce when they get to Tallahassee, and trying to see if they can do something, especially when it comes to the reserve requirements, to extend that out, maybe create some kind of a loan system where the state loans the associations the money to play catch up on their reserves at a discounted rate. There are many possibilities, but if you live in a condominium, and even if you don't, I invite everybody throughout the city to come. I think the event will be very crowded. I think we'll fit 300 people in that room. but it's something that for condominiums is crucial, it's critical. We run the risk of collapsing the condominium market in this state if we don't do something about insurance and funding of reserves. So that's the last thing I have to say, but that's very, very important, so I hope that you're able to come. Again, it's Tuesday, the 19th of December, from 7 to 9 p.m., 7 to 9 p.m. at the Herb Skolnick Center in Pompano Beach. That'll do it for me. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, celebrate it well, and thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate all that. Commissioner Perkins.
Just two things, Mayor. I was under the understanding that when the Senior Activity Center was built on MLK, that the building would be utilized not only for seniors, but for meetings and activities. And I would like for staff to look into, or the city manager to look into, how can we get that senior center open for meetings and activities? The EPAT Larkin Center, of course, is very well utilized, and a lot of us are having problems trying to find a location to meet. I was there the other day, and I can't get a meeting at EPAT Larkins until June. So, and I'm also having a big event in March, and I couldn't use it for a rain date because that's taken. So we're really utilizing the EPAT Larkin Center for meetings and activities. I'd just like for us to go ahead and open up the new Senior Activity Center for meetings and activities as well. Because I've been meeting with the Hunter's Manor there. And I want to have a meeting with them in January, and there's nothing on the books for meetings there until June. So if staff can look into that, because I think that's something that should have been factored in when the center was built, was opening it up for meetings and activities. So if you could look into that, Mr. City Manager, I would really appreciate it. And lastly, Mr. City Manager, what I would like for you to do is email me or have staff contact me on any data or information that I have given them to say that I was not available to meet with staff. Can you please have them put that to me in writing? The date they call me, the time, and whatever reason I wouldn't meet with them. I need to see that in writing, and that really concerns me because I've never publicly had anybody to tell me that I was a liar on this dais. And I take that very seriously. But however, I do think coming from a city manager, when you say, I'm tired of this, coming from a city manager is not a good look. Because I don't know about you, but I really love what I do. I love my job, and I'm never tired of it. So I don't know whether you meant the circumstance we were talking about or just me as an individual. But I'd like for you to know that in order for us to make a difference in this city, you and I have to have a business relationship, whether you like me or not. I deal with people every day in that situation. It doesn't matter. I look at the focus, and the focus is improving and bettering Pompano. So whatever your issues are with me, you can sit down and talk to me or call me in or whatever, I'm available. But I would like for your staff to get me that information and let me know, when did I say to staff I was not available to meet? I really want that information so that I can announce it publicly. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Moss, can you give me the time for the wreaths across America? The time for the wreaths across America?
Yeah, just a second. I have in my book. It's Saturday, this coming Saturday, 9:30 a.m.
9:30. Okay, and that is actually in District 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
What's the name of the cemetery?
I think Woodlawn.
Forest Lawn? That's your district. Sorry,
Yes.
apologize.
No worries.
But you're across the street, right? Your district?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I really want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I'm looking forward to a great new year going forward, and I just want to say, we'll see you on the 19th. All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor McGee.
Yes, I'm very excited for the condo meeting in Commissioner Moss's district. I was going to ask if we could public notice that, just so if multiple of us want to attend, I don't think we'll be speaking, but just
Yeah,
we err on safety.
I've posted it, well, for those listening, if you go to Facebook, there are 3 pages where I posted it. It's Palm Air Social, Concerned Palm Air Residents, and Google Palm Air.
No, I'm saying for us, I was asking if we need to, if we think we need to public notice it for, like, if you and I both go into the meeting.
I don't know, is that necessary? It's not anything that this commission will ever be considering. This is legislation that takes place in Tallahassee, so I think all of us can come. I don't think there'd be any conflict, unless our city attorney says otherwise, but we're not talking, we're just listening. The community will be there asking questions of the 2 senators and the state representative. I'm sure they will provide them with the names of the people in Tallahassee they need to be in touch with, but other than introducing commissioners who show up, we won't be discussing, and none of these issues will ever come before this board.
I just like to err on safety and ask if we need to.
Do you think it needs to be public noticed?
So long as there is no participation from 2 or more, you can attend and you observe.
That's it.
If there is a need, however, I don't think there's any harm in noticing it. It's simple notice, because you never know. There may be something that you do want to participate into the discussion. So I would always advise err on the side of caution. Put a notice up. It's not a problem.
But if we excuse me, but if we notice it, do we also have to record minutes?
I would imagine it would be recorded anyway, but yes, Mayor, we would have.
So I wonder if we have to have our city clerk's office there then, if we're going to notice it.
You would if you're going to notice it.
Right.
You don't, I'm not saying you have to notice it, but if you all want to err on the side of caution, by all means, you could. Just in the event there is going to be discussion amongst yourselves at the public meeting.
Okay.
If you're comfortable that there will not be public discussion and you'll just be there as observers listening, then no, you don't have to notice it.
Well, I think we have to be comfortable by keeping our mouths shut and not talking about it, but I'm comfortable with it.
Second question would actually be to Commissioner Moss. Do you know if they're going to video it and put it out there for?
I don't think the Skolnick Center has the capability of making a recording.
Maybe not live action, but I mean, like, are they going to, are the senators and the reps going to put it up on maybe YouTube later or something for discussion?
I don't believe there's any plan to record it, no. It's just people speaking to their elected representatives.
Okay. And then other than that, I was just going to echo happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. There's still a lot more activities planned by the city and happening. So follow the website, check out cultural fairs. And I know Sample McDougal House is having a Christmas sing-along coming up. And there's just a lot of stuff happening. So everyone enjoy and have a safe and happy holiday season.
Very good. Thank you for that. I just got a couple of items. First, I want to say hats off to of course, Parks, Rec, Cultural Arts, all the Public Works, I mean, really the entire city. Everybody, BSO, Fire, everybody really has been involved in all the holiday events we've had, from the Andy Gillis Park to the beach. Every event has gone off wonderfully. The public has really enjoyed them. Thank you to everyone involved in that. It's great, and just thank you for all of it. It's been fantastic. Yuletide, everything. It's just, people have really been very appreciative of all we've been doing. And I also like to just really say thank you. I don't know, Mark Boudreau, if it was you or Earl or Mr. Harrison, who was involved getting a menorah down at the beach area. That was very thoughtful. Thank you for that. So just want to remind folks, we've got the boat parade coming up Friday evening. That's December 15th. Don't forget that. It's going to be over on the Intercoastal. We have Reason for the Season out at Sand and Spurs Park. That's on December 19th. That starts at 6 p.m. That's an event happening out there at Sand and Spurs. Also, I want to personally thank the H. Greg Lux folks for supplying our vehicles in the Yuletide parade that we all were riding in. That was very nice of them to give us some very upscale things to ride in there to be in the parade with. Also, I just want to follow up on Commissioner Moss's announcement about Wreaths Across America. There is a Wreaths Across America at the Forest Lawn Cemetery, as Commissioner Moss was talking about. There's also another Wreaths Across America ceremony at the Pompano Beach Cemetery. It starts at noon. So we actually have two of them in Pompano Beach. I know the one out there is done, but also the one over here is done by Daughters of the American Revolution. I think they sponsor it there. So we've really got two that day. So yeah, you can go from Forest Lawn over to Pompano Beach Cemetery. And that's really all I've got. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. As Commissioner Moss said, whatever you celebrate it well. Enjoy the holidays, but we will be back here prior to the holidays for the CRA meeting. And thank you for everything. And this meeting is now adjourned.